following presentation is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols, trading ideas, and live trading are for demonstrational purposes and are not recommendations or trading advice. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All of the information and opinions expressed by third-party guests are their own and are not necessarily those of NinjaTrader LLC. Trading futures involve substantial risk and may not be suitable for everyone, and trading futures can result in losses greater than the initial required margin. Traders should only trade futures with risk capital. Risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security or current lifestyle. You can find additional disclosure information on the NinjaTrader website.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live. My name is Jim Cagnina. It is April 26, 2024. Happy Friday, everybody. Joining me live from Chicago headquarters is the irrepressible Michael Burke. Mike, how are you?
Exactly. Just think of me as a shorter, older Tom Snyder.
Okay, that's great. It's like Tom Snyder squared for me. I love it. How you doing? How's everything in Chicago?
Great. It was a little chillier than I thought. When I got here, I really didn't pack for 40-degree weather, but I managed. I did take a sweater just in case, and so I was fine. But it's beautiful here. I love Chicago.
Yeah, people roaming around post-COVID, business is busy.
Yeah, it's the city is always just nice and clean, and it's easy to get around. It's a great city.
Yeah, I do miss it a little bit, I'll be honest with you, after 58 years of being my home, but not enough to move back.
Well, I remember going to a hockey game with Mark Greco in November, and it was -10. So it's no chance I would live here.
Yeah. Any event, well, you'll be back soon in the South, and safe travels. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning, Mike. This has been a week full of economic news drama, even with the FOMC kind of quiet period by the talking heads at the FOMC going into next week's meeting. But let's talk about it right off the bat. We had some pretty impressive economic releases with the personal income and outlays.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of just a nothing burger, really. It was kind of flat. But I mean, the fact that it's not moving in any particular direction, I think we just need that kind of stability. There's been too many kind of spikes in some of those news releases lately.
Yeah, and Eric Norland kind of warned us yesterday that of this, right? He's like, yeah, I mean, economists probably will nail this a little bit better because of all the input data that's already been released associated with, at least with the PCE portion of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that the fact that GDP was down, I think I was talking to Tom about this at one point, is that we kind of got spoiled with GDP in the 2% and more. So a 1.6, it kind of spooked the market more than I thought. In fact, the Fed is looking for GDP to come down a little bit to slow inflation. So I thought that bad news was gonna be good news, but it didn't work out that way. But it doesn't matter now. We've turned around the last couple of days.
Yeah, the naysayers, they started using the word stagflation. You remember the 70s. The combination, stagflation is defined, if you guys don't know what it is, a combination of stagnant economy, so GDP's going down or negative, high unemployment and high inflation. Well, we might have 2 out of 3 of those, but we don't have high unemployment.
No, I mean, the fact, and if you think about it, that's really the buffering factor here. As long as employment is good, the economy is going to do well. Yeah, sure, that drives inflation a little bit, but I'd rather be working and prices rising a little bit than not working.
Good point. Good point. And speaking of personal consumption, personal income month over month was exactly as forecast, 0.5 actual versus 0.5, and consumer spending was a little hot, 0.8 over 0.6. So that consumer spending component, again, is showing folks are out there buying stuff.
Yeah, the problem is they're putting it on their credit card. And that's going to come back to bite everybody at some point. So yeah, it's good. Again, it's not great for inflation that everybody is spending, and it's not good that they're putting it on their credit card. So that's kind of a mixed number for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. We'll see how it goes. We'll be tracking it month for month, week for week. We also have 10 o'clock consumer sentiment by the University of Michigan, which tends to be an interesting set of data on a Friday afternoon, or Friday morning, rather.
Yeah, I mean, that's a number that can move the market, absolutely. And it's one of those measures of how everybody's feeling. And it just adds to the, that pot of markets and trader sentiment.
Yeah, and that sentiment, if it turns into expectation, turns into action. So I see some movement there. Baker used rig count 1 o'clock. And that's it, folks, for the planned economic news today. So let's take a look at some of these daily charts, as we usually do in the opening at the very start. Right now, we have a daily candle right here, E-mini S&P, and Mike, hopefully you can see this okay. I have a slightly, downward, not slightly, a downward sloping, kind of roughly drawn trend channel. And then I have that anchored VWAP from January, that dark blue line right here. It seems to me we popped out of both of those.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this chart, it looks like this market is actually kind of consolidating. We have a swing low there, but we really haven't moved that much off of that swing low compared to where we were, just a few days ago. So yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think that line, what is the blue line? What is that level you're drawn at there?
So this dark blue line going across here, Mike, that's an anchored VWAP from January of 2024. So I just anchored the VWAP here. Let me show you a better shot. I'll move this back a little bit.
Oh, so never mind. I had my settings a little off there, so now I can see that perfectly. So okay. They're both right near 50-50.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
so in any event, yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I'm a little bit open-minded today for my bias, but we will see. Opening range today, I think, is going to be unique. I think it's going to be unique today. I think I'm uncertain what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so right now, we're at 9:06 Eastern. A lot of times from this point into the U.S. Open, we see a bit of selling heading into the Open. It kind of looks like that here. We gapped up a little bit. We've got a red candle. So yeah, I agree with you. Well, I think all bets are off as soon as the market opens though.
All right, let's go to the micro NASDAQ. Micro NASDAQ, similar but different. We're below the anchored VWAP this time, but we're above my 2 moving averages. That's the 8 exponential and the 20 simple. And again, we're trying to rally again, but this is looking a little tougher.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're at that 17,800 level. That has been a level that we've seen in the past. Your anchored VWAP is right at that level as well. The 37.5 retracement is right there as well. So that's going to be tough to get above that level. And right now we're heading away from it. So
yeah, we had some interesting earnings though. It was almost like a reversal of fortune, right? So we had Alphabet, aka Google, come in pretty good, and we had Microsoft coming pretty good, kind of countering the meta from bad news yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, those are 2 benchmark stocks in the whole world. I mean, you don't get much better than Microsoft and Google, and they're both well-run companies. And yeah, I mean, those are the kind of companies that need to do well, to keep this market going. It's when one of those big companies miss or there's a surprise, that they don't hit earnings, that's when you have to worry. But as long as these companies are chugging along, I think the stock market is still poised to go up.
Yeah, I mean, Intel, again, we think AI, we think chips, we think, that kind of level of technology. Intel, actually, their adjusted EPS was 18 cents. It was estimated at 13 cents. So that was a beat. They had some other good news in that report also.
Yeah, you just can't say enough of good things about these companies. I mean, they're forward thinking. They're on the cutting edge of technology. Those are the drivers of our economy. At least
Yeah.
they're what maybe not the drivers, but they are the inspiration for our economy, for the market to go up.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep it rolling here. Let's go over to the Russell. Russell's even up today a little bit, but from a daily chart point of view, let's see what we have here. I didn't put the anchored VWAP in just because the nature of the price action was a little different, but right now we're right against its 8 exponential, and this is looking a little less rosy than the other 2 stock index futures.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really see any kind of gap up here like we saw in the other markets. And the problem here, frankly, is that the 10-year yield is over 4.7, or it was yesterday. I don't know where we are today.
The 10-year micro yield is, it's about 4.665 right now as we speak. The CME micro contract.
Yeah, so we were over 4.7 yesterday. This is down a little bit, so yeah, it's a little bit bullish for the Russell here, but not by much.
Yeah. Well, baby candle here, open-minded again. Let's go to the Dow. Dow is pretty unched. I'm going to call it unchanged, even though I got a little bit of green on the board here, but it's not enough for me to say we're up on the day. Similarly, that 8 exponential moving average, it just keeps coming back to surprise me. We wicked through it this morning, but couldn't make any progress.
Yeah, I mean, you look at yesterday, you've got that big buyer's wick. And that certainly would have been positive going into today. And it's Friday. I guess that has a lot to do with what's happening here. Plus, there's just a number of there's just been so many earnings. It's been so mixed that, again, I think we're just in kind of a sideways holding pattern here until all of the earnings flush out.
Yeah. And I believe we continue this next week too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's been I think there's 500 releases a day right now. So you figure or at least major releases. So that's 2,500 stocks. There's a lot more stocks than that still to go.
Wow. That's now that you said that out loud, that's a pretty impressive number.
It is. It's hard to follow all of those.
It's impossible. I don't know. We'll keep our fingers crossed for Hawaiian Electric.
Yes, exactly.
As an inside joke, everybody. Gold right now is kind of resuming its rally, I think. This is an interesting kind of series of steps here, and my lines are a little bit convoluted, but let me just kind of show you this old area of resistance, which is my bottom rectangle, my new area of support, which is the middle rectangle, and then we kind of just bifurcated support and resistance with this little sliver of a rectangle. Let me open it up a little bit more, and that's what we're launching off against right now.
So I like that 2350 level. I think that's a good support level. We dipped below there. It acted as resistance for a little while. Then we're back up again today. Yeah, I think we're going to see some follow through. If you go back 4 days there, you've got that kind of very small body hammer on, I think that's Tuesday, and in my mind, that kind of that big buyer's wick kind of signaled that there could be some follow through the next few days, and there has been.
Yeah, and it's continuing to roll here, and just kind of glancing over the currency pairs, Mike. Pretty, other than the yen, which we could talk about in a minute, it's pretty much mellow, right? Couple of reds, couple of greens. Maybe the Aussie dollar's a little out of whack, but I don't see any really big numbers here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, the dollar's been super strong. And today, that the bonds are up a little bit. The yield has come down a little bit. So the dollar is going to be a little bit weaker today or unchanged. And that's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah, speaking of bonds, though, I'm going to throw up a 30-year Treasury bond first. We're kind of off the mat a little bit. We hit a pretty impressive low here yesterday with that low target wick. I moved my rectangle in my area of support down right now. Again, gently sloping downward here. And this is a story of interest rates.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a downtrend. We had a little bit of we occasionally have a little bit of consolidation or a little bit of a pullback, but then it just continues and makes lower lows. This is looking weak to me. This week we could see more downside.
Right.
We kind of have
go
ahead.
Inside bar so far.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say that exactly. We were thinking the same thing.
Oh, okay. So just to kind of elaborate a little bit, the candle, today's candle, right? We have a higher low than the previous candle and a lower high than the previous candle. That's called an inside bar, and that's where we're at right now. The idea, of course, is well, we're gonna break out one way or the other, right? Which isn't very helpful because we don't know which way we're gonna break out, but that's the idea.
So Tom would call this in the candlestick world, a harami.
Okay.
So harami is an inside bar. It's an interesting story. The term harami means pregnant in Japanese. So today's candle is the baby, and the red candle is the mom. So if you look at it from that point of view, it's a little disturbing.
Okay. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day at NinjaTrader Live. But I think this green candle has to be over the midpoint, right? For that or no?
Generally, yes, but
Okay.
yeah, as long as it's inside, again, I think we're over the midpoint here. So
Yeah. All right. Well, pregnant candle. You heard it live from Mike Burke. Let's shoot over to crude oil. Crude oil's back rallying a little bit here, Tom. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you Tom accidentally like 7 times this morning.
That's high praise.
Anyway, yeah. So let me just squish this up because we had a Head and Shoulders possibly brewing, and it looks like not, right? It looks like not, unless this is just a temporary hiccup. We were hoping this was going to be the shoulder, the right shoulder. We got the left shoulder, we got the head, we got the right shoulder. But now we're just driving up off of that 8 exponential moving average.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this downtrend, the last couple of weeks was a surprise, considering everything that was going on. We were drawing inventory out. Everything was looking like this market should be moving higher, and then it was actually moving lower. So yeah, I think it's very likely that whatever this market was experiencing as far as buyers and sellers, supply and demand, I think it's going to get back to where it was, and we're going to see some higher prices here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to put in a kind of a lower level area of support, approximately 8180. And this is actually a target wick also, right? We have 2 wicks. I love when this happens because it's like so many times I'm surprised when we have these target wicks up here. And this is a name I came up with. This isn't, won't find this in a textbook, but when we achieve them, it's just amazing the amount of times we achieve them. So we have a double top almost perfectly with these wicks here. So we've been up there twice already. And then this is also a target wick as well. So if we do rally, which I think we're going to do also, I want to think in terms of potential, and I want to remember what price point that was at.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point there. If you look at those big, buyers or sellers wicks, and you look at the next candle, did the next candle achieve a lower price than the close of that next bar? How many times did that happen? So if you look at those 3 that you showed there on every subsequent candle, there was a lower price that you could have achieved. Now, certainly there's lots of things, gyrations intraday. It might even, the market might even close higher the next day, but at some point during that next bar, there were lower prices than the previous close. It's an interesting follow through.
Well, yeah, but it makes a little sense because these wicks are on the top, right? And so, buyers were exhausted, sellers took over, and that kind of moved into the next session. Same with this one. Buyers are exhausted, sellers took over, and that, at least for a little while, moved into the next session.
And again, those are the kinds of data points that you can use to have some kind of a bias in your day trading the next day. So maybe you're more aggressive to the downside, on the next day, as opposed to being more aggressive on the upside.
Yep, that's right. Good point. All right, let's shoot over to my bias is bullish here. Let's shoot over to crypto.
Mine's good.
All right, so we're kind of like sideways bound here in micro Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think the air is slowly leaking out of this balloon. And I'm not sure that there's anybody here to reinflate it anytime soon. So I think this market is still reeling from that rally up to 75,000. It's reeling from the reversal back down to 60,000. So yeah, we're going to try to find some equilibrium here for a while before the market figures out what it's going to do.
We got to get our trademark lawyers going. We got the leaky balloon pattern right now on the screen.
Yes. We could keep them busy, I'll tell you. We should have our own legal counsel for this team.
Absolutely. We're be careful there. We're at like I think that 60,000 though is kind of a even level right through my lower area rectangle here, area support, kind of line in the sand for me. We start getting into a 50 handle on Bitcoin, and that's going to unleash a whole bunch of probably outrage on the internet.
It's interesting that, that 60,000 is 20% from the high. If any other market moved 20% in this period of time, it would be, fire alarm bells going off, for the entire market. But Bitcoin, it's just business as usual.
That's right. That's right. Quick, thick skin with the Bitcoin trading.
Yes.
All right, let's keep moving here. I just wanted to touch up. We got time for a couple more. Wheat continues its impressive rally today so far. We finally have a slowdown when the day session starts on wheat. We'll see if that continues up or not. But this has been an incredible, I think, weather related mostly drive up in price on wheat.
Yeah, I don't know what is driving this. It's interesting. We're in the spring, and the weather seems to be good. So this must be some international. There must be some international supply and demand things that we don't know about that is driving this. It's an interesting market. These markets are challenging to trade sometimes because of this. These markets, can have the ability to go limit up or limit down very, very easily based on some dramatic news. And now you're locked in a position hoping to get out at some point. So it can be a bit challenging, but this market has been in a pretty serious decline for most of the year. And so this is a nice breakout to the upside. But yeah, I don't follow this market enough to know what would be driving this.
So yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a combination from what I'm reading, and I don't know for sure, but from what I'm reading is the southern mid plains are projected to be drier than usual, and then of course the conflict that we're having in Ukraine.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ukraine was such a huge exporter of, which I didn't know until all of this kind of broke down, but they are a huge exporter of wheat. It's just incredible. Anyway,
I'll see if it stalls today or not on the open. This will be an interesting day. I think lastly, Mike, let's touch on the yen. I mean, here's my yen chart. I was thinking we're going to have some intervention last night, and that wasn't the case.
No, I think, we've talked about this before. The culture in Japan works against them in that, at different levels, depending on what level you're at, you don't want to make a decision that turns out bad so that you drop down a level, So it's very difficult in the Japanese culture to make a big decision because they don't want to be wrong. It would just be devastating for their career. And this is what we're seeing. I mean, no one is willing to take any action. They said they're going to stay where they are. This is bad.
Yeah. And when the headline in Reuters was Bank of Japan keeps low rates, hints of future rate hikes fail to stem yen fall. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh gosh, I know. Here we go again. Business as usual at the Bank of Japan.
The problem here is multifold. First of all, we are at historic if not all-time lows against the dollar here. We are at 9 or 10-year lows against the British pound. I mean, this market is, it takes a lot of yen to buy stuff nowadays versus, this used to be, I mean, we've been at parity with the Japanese yen in the past. So this is just amazing. It's a great time to buy a Japanese car, because US dollars go a long way. That's kind of an overstatement. Most Japanese cars nowadays are built in the US, but there are still some premium Japanese cars that are a pretty good deal with the yen at this level.
I have a Honda Accord. I'm happy with it. The thing is great.
You can upgrade to an Acura now with the yen at this level.
No, no upgrades. I'm happy. Oh my goodness. Anyway, all right. So I think we covered a lot of ground, Mike. We got off to a really good start. The opening range is pretty close upon us here in a couple of minutes. So let's go ahead and take a really quick break, and we'll get right back to it.
Before we go, first into the chat, Polly H, and Theo G. First into the chat.
Special shout out, Polly H, Theo G. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys for sure. Thanks for reminding me, Mike. All right, we'll be right back, folks.
So, you want to be a trader? Well, you should know you're not alone. Over the past several years, record numbers of people have set up their very own online trading accounts. There's never been an easier time or more inexpensive way for do-it-yourselfers to get started trading the financial markets.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at ninjatrader.com.
We are back, everybody. Appreciate everybody's patience going into the opening range. I'm going to pull up some 10-minute charts. I have the E-mini S&P up. And, this is when I see these 830 candles in wicks and ranges on bars, Mike, it's like this market's sensitive to any economic news that creeps out.
It's almost like, it's let's take a bet. I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to play 0-0. Let's make a bet and see what happens. And some people win and some people lose. And you see this equal and opposite, and that's exactly what's happening. You've got to get in and out in a pretty short time. And yeah, it's incredible. I mean, look at how high that went on almost nothing news.
Well, on consensus news. I mean,
Right,
this was consensus. There was no surprises, right? So 5140 is the top of that candle. The bottom of that same candle was 16. So what is that? A 25 handle move, and then it just kind of ended up with an equal and opposite after that. Here, let's explore this a little bit. Let's open this up a little bit. So there's the news. Boom, hit our peak, and then we just ended up giving everything back the very next 10-minute bar.
Yeah, so when we've seen this pattern. Yesterday was a little bit different, but yeah, we've seen this pattern is that when the market opens, sellers tend to take over for a little while, and then somewhere around the middle of the opening range, we can get a better sense of where the market's going that day. But yeah, it feels like there's a pent up number of sellers at 9:30 every day.
Yeah, it does. And then this target wick just got achieved here at the bottom. I'm not even going to highlight it anymore. So I like to circle these target wicks and think about the potential here. We're making new lows on the session. We had that old area of support. This was approximately, well, this is after the European Open. This was 5 o'clock this morning, 5:10. That we've totally crushed it. Sellers are taking over. We're approaching 5,100 even. Volume profile's nice though, but we're going to get more volume right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is lookout below at this point. The market's just blowing through. And I think 5,100 will probably pause this market a little bit. But yeah, this is looking pretty weak here.
And the pivot is sub 5,100. 50.95 is the actual pivot itself. This could be a destination at this point.
I agree. I mean, look at how far away that pivot is. Imagine how far, S1 is. We had a big range bar yesterday. This is the result, is you've got these pivot points way out of contention. They're really not going to be a factor today unless this market really, it really falls out from under us.
Okay, so that was going to be my question. Do you feel like on kind of more normal range days the day before, the pivots are more meaningful from a support and resistance point of view?
Oh, exactly. And, a lot of it has to do with the fact of where the market was trading overnight through the Globex. So if you're above, let's say you're above S1 and you come down to S1, you've been above S1, all Globex, S1 is going to be a pretty strong level. Right. So it just depends on the proximity of where the trading had been prior to that. But absolutely on a smaller range day, those pivots become more critical the next day. Well, and plus they're in play. Like on a day like today, they're not in play because yesterday was such a big range day.
Yeah. We have the VWAP standard deviation bands pointing downward, arcing downward, at least the bottom standard deviation bands. We're tracking price on that second lower standard deviation band right now for volume weighted average price. I haven't put a anchored VWAP up yet. I just need a little more data, I think, Mike.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you could put an anchored one of the ways that I use anchored VWAP is I put them, I start them where there's an event. So you could start it at 8:30, and that's a good place to anchor the VWAP.
All right, I'm going to do it. Drawing tools. Order flow VWAP, and we're going to click on that event bar, drag it forward. And so now I have this dark blue anchored VWAP. We anchored it from the 830 to 840 bar and moved it forward. They're intersecting right now, and it's not surprising it's downward sloping because that's been the price since then.
Right. So, we're breaking through that standard deviation line. That worries me. The previous candle, buyers brought it back to that standard deviation line. Maybe that'll happen here, but this is looking pretty negative to the downside.
Yeah, and don't let the plus 24 fool you on the market analyzer. Remember what happened? This was extraordinary, Mike. This was the earnings call.
Yep.
This is last night. Look at that candle. Look at that guy. Let's see how big it is. It's 79 to 31. That's a 51 handle candle.
Amazing. Well, the volume wasn't that light.
No.
But yeah, normally at that time of the day, everybody's gone home. In this case, there was good volume on that bar.
Yeah, and that's
incredible volume.
Advantage goes to futures right here, right? You could have had your charts up, you could have been trading, and the close in New York bell, you could ignore it. I mean, you want to know what's happening, right? You want to know what's happening in the cash market, but you can keep trading for another hour. And with 10,000 contracts traded in that one bar, plenty of liquidity.
I mean, let's say that you're getting close to the end of the session yesterday, and you think we're overstretched. It's going to go down tomorrow. I'm going to take a short position in the Qs, just overnight, because I think the market's going to go down. And now it spikes up, and you're trapped in this terrible short Qs trade, and there's nothing you can do about it. right? So, you know,
Right.
with futures, you know, you could take that same bad trade, you could short the market here, but as it's going against you, you can stop yourself out and reduce that loss.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Crazy. So, and
The other
then the
thing,
kind of the idea, go ahead, Mike.
no, go ahead.
Well, the idea of hedging also comes in mind, right? So, you know, you might be a passive investor and you might want to hedge yourself, and it's something you could do.
Absolutely. So one of the things I thought we should point out is that, you know, it looks like the market is underwater because we opened up way up there at, you know, 5130 and we're underwater. We're below that. But if you look at the green number up there, we're up 30. So
Yeah.
why is that, right? So the reason that is that the CME has a settlement price that they mark this market at 415, and that
Yeah.
settlement price is much lower than where it finished at 5 o'clock. And so
Yeah.
that kind of gap up on the open is why you're seeing this dichotomy in prices.
Exactly. And that's you know, the closes versus not closes, and that's again, advantage goes to futures there. But I'm going to do something different, Mike. I'm okay. I feel good. I'm just changing to a 60-minute chart for a second. And I'm just going to look at the last 3 sessions, you know, after the big releases. We had a point of control 2 sessions ago at 51.14. And then yesterday's point of control dropped all the way. This is volume profile. Yesterday's dropped down to 50.38. That was a pretty big move down. Today, our point of control is all the way back up to 51.20. So when I'm thinking as if, you know, we're here on a Friday, we assimilated most of the information. I know Michigan's coming up next, but is this price happiness 2 out of 3 days, is this going to take primacy over a big break on the downside?
So that's my thinking. Yeah, I think, you know, I was thinking that yesterday, yeah, there was probably some profit taking. There's some earnings news kind of, you know, bolstered this market, but the overall sentiment is still down. And there could just as easily be a couple of misses on earnings that spikes this market down the other way. So, you know, it's a time to be super careful with your trading, especially if you're doing anything that's not intraday. If you're doing anything overnight, this is a scary market for that kind of trading.
Yeah. Well, I'm switching back to the 60. The 10-minute. The 60 makes me nervous. So I'm back in my comfort zone. By the way, Mike, we have a whole bunch of wonderful folks with us today.
We do. Let me get to that list. It's the wonderful attendee list.
And it's Friday. I'm always amazed anybody shows up on Friday, including me.
Well, I appreciate that you're showing up here. So
Okay.
So Raleigh is here. Great to see you as always. James Turtle, always good to see you. Stephen Rios, Hitta, Foggy Cape, Brendan Lynch, Mom and Dad Kegs. Like I said before, I'd love to meet them and ask them some questions. Nola Boy, W. Ray, Mark R, Robert W in Wake Forest, Jeanette, Dan, Jen P, J-Man 2005, Lewis H, Advanced Software Features, Darchi Meadow Barragan, boy, I messed that up. Scott K, Eurus Well, DP, Simon W, Nick Earhart, Sophia Mayes, Thelib, Johnny Devlin, Iram Alam. I've seen that name before. Thanks for being here. Tracy Stone, Eagle, Carlos, New York Yankees, Dave Rukila, Anissa. This is just an amazing list of people. Many of them, you know, are new. Many of them have been with us for a long time. We really appreciate everybody being here. If I missed your name, I apologize. We can only see you if you've typed into the chat. So you have to at least say good morning or good afternoon so that we can see you. And then you know, we can give you that shout out. So Mr. Barragan, I'm messing up that first name. He's from Colombia. You know, buenos dias. Glad you're here.
I'm going with Dargio. You know, I'm not good at names either, Mike. I'm glad my name is Jim. But I'm gonna go with Darjo. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody being here. You know, it's a great community. Everyone's helping each other out. Remember, there's very experienced people here that are in the chat and that are part of the show. And then there's some very brand new folks as well. So we really appreciate everybody helping everybody out and being part of us, especially on a Friday. Thanks everybody for being here. Dan asked, does anybody know what happened in the micro E-mini yesterday afternoon? Well, if you mean this big green candle, this was the earnings announcement, right? We had Google and the other one, Microsoft came in better. I mean, if that's the candle you're referring to, that's that in my opinion, and I think in everyone's opinion, that's why that rallied so much. Those earnings announcements and data came in pretty good.
Yeah, that was an incredible run if you were watching it. I had already gone out to have a beer at that point, so I completely missed that candle. It reminds me of a little bit of the flash crash back in the day, where you know, I was doing a seminar and we were kind of talking about the markets, and I was looking at the chart, and one of the faces in the crowd just had this weird look on it. And I turned around and looked at the chart, and it was that flash crash. So it's, you know, this is kind of like that. It was your eyes get bigger as the market makes that move.
So where were you at when that happened?
I was doing a seminar somewhere. I don't know.
I was sitting in Mark Oman's office at the CME. And it happened. And my phone starts lighting up, right? Everyone's like, where are you? Because, you know, we had to do some risk management back in the day.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I'm hanging out with Mark. Like, get back here right away. Oh, man.
The exchange hates when those happen. When those things happen, they hate it.
We didn't even know. We were just sitting in his office talking. Anyway, it's funny how, you know, you have these events in life, Mike, and you remember where you were at. You know, the older generation, you know, they say, well, do you remember where you were when Kennedy was assassinated, right? Yeah, I remember that. But for us traders, it's like, do you remember where you were when the flash crash happened?
Yes, that's true. It's funny that those things are usually bad events. You know,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of where were you when this great thing happened. It's unfortunately, it's always where were you when this terrible thing happened.
Yeah, I mean, no one's. Where were you when we made all-time highs in the S&P this year?
Yes.
No idea.
Yeah, exactly. Funny.
Oh my, yeah. Anyway, so kind of volatile opening range here. You know, we have a pretty interesting dominant candle here that just happened, that just completed. You know, this was the first 10-minute candle of the opening range. Volume is coming in pretty nicely at 377,000 in the E-mini S&P so far. And we'll now maybe we're going to give it back. I don't know, but so there's some definite little bit of market uncertainty and a lot of fight going on right now, Mike.
So you know, I've completely changed my mind on this market now. So that candle with that volume, yeah, I think we're going to go to a little bit of retracement here. But yeah, I think we're going to be back above those highs, you know, where the earnings were, not with the earnings, but when the news release came out at 8:30. So I'm optimistic that at least sometime today we're going to be back above that 8:30 high.
Yeah, and these candles here at 8:30, 8:40, just short of previous sessions highs. So probably some orders there, probably some activity that's going to occur if we get back up there.
Yeah, I think, you know, for the most part, you know, traders want this market to go up. And yeah, I think that last candle, that first bar, I think that's a good sign for the market today. I'm bullish right now.
All right. Let's pop over to gold while this opening range is percolating here in the equity market. Gold again has that. Let's see, where are we at on gold? We have the same settlement thing with gold, but we're up $9 now, 23.52. We just crossed over we just closed below VWAP for the first time since you know, way back here at 10:30 at night, which I think is significant for me. this volume weighted average price on gold, more of an international marketplace, been trading it all session. We're finally below that VWAP right here, Mike. So that's suggesting to me that we have a change in momentum, even though the momentum has been kind of sloping down anyway. It's looking negative right here.
So a couple of things, first of all, the equal and opposite big candles there at the news release, I think is interesting. First of all, why is gold reacting to a nothing burger news release? That is kind of weird. Kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, is that there's just a lot of people who want to trade that news, regardless of what the news. I don't care what the news is. I'm trading, and they just jump into the market. And so you've got this big equal and opposite. And Dan Graham teaches us, if you have a big benchmark candle like that, and then you've got several small bars that don't manage to get out of that big red benchmark candle, the market's going south. And that's exactly what happened. This is classic Dan Graham's candlestick theory here. And again, on top of that, closing below the VWAP here, this market is looking weak here as we go through this opening range.
Okay, so just so I understand, so here's this big equal and opposite red candle, right? Occurred. Then we had 1, 2, 3 bodies of candles attempt to cross the piercing line and attempt to rally back up, and it failed. So this is the pattern you're talking about, right? At this point, correct. Then okay, the bears are going to take over.
Basically the bears are keeping the buyers at bay here, and eventually the buyers give up and the sellers take over, and you're off to the races to the downside.
Wow. I mean, just looking at that pattern, that's an impressive observation, because that's exactly what happened. All right. Well, we're seeing what the downside possibility here is here for gold. So I'm no longer looking for places to buy, at least not yet. The
2340 is my level. The pivot point is right there.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the level. I look at gold.
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm putting a line there for you. You're on the spot now. 2340 is there.
Okay, that's my target. We noticed we hit that same. It's not like I'm Nostradamus or anything. If you look back, that same level was hit at overnight. Just after the market's open. So. Well,
right. So I would ordinarily have a rectangle down here, right? At 2100. What is that? I always have a hard time. 9 o'clock. I have a hard time with military time, Tom. I mean, Mike. Sorry. Oh, man. And Mrs. Kaggs is a vet, so she's probably not happy with me. All right. Well, we'll keep monitoring this. After the open range, we'll come back to this, see if there's any trade ideas going on. Remember, there's a micro gold product, everybody, that's very, very, that moves in sync with the classic gold. It's 1/10 the size of the contract. So instead of $10 ticks, it's $1 tick. And it's a really nice market to consider depending on your risk reward profile.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, why would you trade the big contract when you can have more variability and really kind of manage that trade with more flexibility with the micro? It's the exact same instrument. It's just a smaller size.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I told this story to Mike, and I don't know if me and you had the conversation, but I'm going back to days with Mark Owens back in the day when he told me these were coming down the pike. I shook my head. I'm like, really? Who's going to trade those?
So
boy, was I wrong.
I mean, the thing is that the CME puts out a lot of interesting products to kind of see what the market will, adopt. But it's a no-brainer for crude and gold, and obviously for the major market indexes. I love the 10-year super micro interest rate yield. I mean, that's a fun contract to trade. Even the Bitcoin contracts are fun to trade. They're super small.
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. So I'm a super fan now, but at the time, because my background was way back in the day, floor of the board of trade. Then the S&P was a big size contract, and they cut it down. And then we have minis on the S&P, so I'm a naysayer throughout my whole career, but I've been wrong. They've been great markets to trade.
So what's interesting is that, like you, a lot of the bigger traders were like, why are you even bothering with that? I'm never going to trade those. And now all the big traders are trading the micros because they like that flexibility. They like the ability to kind of scale in and out easily without it's amazing. Those are great products.
By the way, Mike, TR for GIK11, I'm sure that means there's a word in there somewhere, says Mike Burke is always bullish. We were talking about the equity market.
Yes, I am always bullish, but with a caveat that I am not going to go down with the ship. So, I will hedge a little bit. I'll be honest. I'll full disclosure right now. I am in my 401k. I have a hedge on with a short QQQ, just to kind of mitigate, in fact, if there's a little bit more downside here. So I put that on a few days ago just to kind of cushion any big fall down here. So right now, that's about that. I'm flat on that roughly, but yeah, I will hedge a little bit when I think the market is in a mode like this.
So great minds think alike, Mike. I have the exact same trade on, maybe a different strike price here with the QQQ options. I was thinking the same thing. I'm doing though March 7th, the third week of March is my expiration date.
Yeah, I mean, that's also a great way to kind of fix your, especially in a hedge, the ability to just say, look, I'm willing to lose this much money. I'm willing to let this option expire worthless just to give me some protection and peace of mind. So that's a great mindset.
Yeah, and if the market goes, if that trade goes your way, that means your portfolio is not going that way, but at least you have a little ray of sunshine. It could make you feel a little happier.
Yes, totally agree.
Oh my goodness! And by the way, so that leads me to ask you this question. I meant to ask you this question before. The idea of sell in May and go away. Have you ever heard that before?
Yes, absolutely. So the idea is that there are seasonal patterns to most of the futures markets. Commodities have stronger seasonal patterns. Energies, metals have less of a seasonal pattern. It's really a commodity kind of thing. But our friend Steve Moore has done incredible work on seasonal patterns in financial markets and bonds. And yes, there is a seasonal pattern that is very consistent year in and year out, where the market tends to be flat or tends to drift slowly down between May and October.
Yeah, and I'm gonna also do a shout out for more research, MOORE research on historical prices. They've been so good for so long. I mean, they've been around forever, and their research is worth every penny, in my humble opinion.
And super reasonably priced.
Yeah, and remember though, folks, we have to give you the disclaimer. With seasonal patterns here, that in any given season we could buck the pattern, right? So we just have to we have to throw that out there. But so we'll see we'll see if sell in May and go away is a real thing or not this year.
Yeah, I mean, Larry Williams talks about this as well. It's no one trades directly off seasonal patterns. It's a bias. It's part of a story for your trading. It's not the trigger.
Yeah, exactly. It's right. How, we do this a little bit by looking at a daily chart, sometimes a weekly chart. What's our bias for today, right? What's the trend? Is there a dominant trend or is there not a dominant trend? That's one thing, right? The other thing is the news. And then there's the relationships, the correlations between the markets, and then what we're just talking about right now.
There's different time frames.
Yeah. Anyway, I pulled the crude market up in the meantime here. Crude is still in backwardation, right? The December contract's trading at 79.36. The front month, which is what I'm looking at right now, is about 94,000 contracts traded so far. That's the June 2024 contract. And the front month has just lost its battle. The VWAP has lost its battle. Volume weighted average price has just failed, as we were talking.
Yeah, I mean, R1 was a fantastic level today. You see all those wicks just up there hitting it. You know, sellers said this far and no further, and it brought it back down. Eventually, the buyers give up, sellers, you know, take over, and this is the result. You know, the market's still up a little bit here. You know, this is a market that, in my mind, is really range bound between 82 and 84 right now. So if it gets above 84, sellers are going to bring it down. If it gets below 82, you know, buyers are going to bring it back up. And you know, and basically, you know, that consolidation, you know, unless there's, and again, this is such a news driven market, unless there's some kind of a news release or some kind of manipulation by OPEC, the market's going to stay in this range.
Okay, well, interesting. I'm looking at this from, I learned this from Tom yesterday. We have the swing high, way back here, 9 o'clock, swing high, higher swing high, higher swing high. And then I'm looking at lows, right? We have a swing low and maybe a lower swing low. So if this is a cycle, right, if we're going to continue with that idea, then perhaps we could challenge these Mohawk wicks way up here at R1 again. I don't know, like you said, what kind of news is left on a Friday for energy markets?
So Jim, you've seen this pattern before, and a lot of times it's kind of a weird pattern where not forget the wicks there for a second. Let's erase those wicks and just let's look at the high and low. Let's look at the candles. A lot of times what you see is a candle open or close at the same level for multiple bars in a row. So it's kind of like a shelf. It's a shelf pattern where there's nothing above it, right? But they're stuck here. And so basically you've got either buyers or sellers in very strong control of that market, creating this shelf. Eventually those guys go away and the market spikes in one direction or the other. That's what we saw here. If you erase those wicks, we came up to that same level around 84.35 or so. And once the buyers gave up, it just took off to the downside.
Yeah, well, they gave up. They gave up big time. So I have a little area of support right here, 83.90. We had that little bit of a pause on the upward move earlier pre-market. And then, that rectangle just kind of touches the previous session's high, which are the green Christmas trees pointing up. And so I think this is going to be an important area still. I mean, I think we have to overcome this still. And, we might not be able to, but we'll see as we go forward.
Yeah, so my level here is 83.80, just below that, the high of yesterday. And, this is a market that I look at in 20-cent increments for support and resistance. So I like that 83.80 level.
All right. So every time you call out a level, Mike, I'm putting a line there. So I could remember, we could do a lesson learned. Mike said this was the level. Oh my goodness. What we didn't talk about, and are we done with the opening range? No, we're almost done with the opening range. A few more minutes left before the opening range is over, but we didn't talk about, and I meant to do this, copper, and I just want to really quickly go, if my charts cooperate with me here, daily chart on copper, where we saw this just incredible rally going on. And forget about my area of resistance. It's been destroyed.
So this is we're in FOMO here, right? Like we were in Bitcoin. No one wants to miss out on this rally, and we see more and more buyers coming in here. Again, these gap ups are very telling in my mind. We gapped up yesterday, we gapped up today. This is a market that could have one of those breakout bars. This could have an upside benchmark candle to the upside any day now, just kind of swooping it up to close to 5. So 5 is the kind of the target here. We were at 5. I think we were at 5 last year or the year before. That was the last time we were up here. And if you look at a weekly chart, I think, do you have a weekly chart? No.
Yeah, I don't have enough data, Mike, but I hear you. 5 is way up here.
So take my word for it. I'm good for it. That we were at 5. We were at 5 a year ago or a year and a half ago. That's the target now. That'll be a tough level to get through, but that's what I'm looking at here.
Micro contracts in copper.
There
also
are.
Just thought I'd throw that one out. And so a couple things, Mike, on what you just said. When you see these gaps on an uptrend, gap up, right? Is it usually bullish?
In my mind, it's very bullish. It tells me that buyers are just chomping at the bit to get out of the gate. And so basically, as soon as that gate opens, all of that buying pressure moves the market up, and the market gaps up from the previous day. Yeah, obviously that buying pressure kind of eventually resolves itself. And sometimes you will see, like these last couple of days, there is a little bit of a seller's wick there. So it means it gapped up. There was a little bit of retracement, and then the buyers just took it even higher. So, the only thing that, we see here is there are some pretty good sized wicks at the top here, which means that, sellers have not completely capitulated here. They're still in the game, but the buyers seem very strong here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it can go higher. I'm glad you pointed out that 5.0 level. By the way, Ripper 24, John Smith, TR4, Gick 11, Boston J are with us. Appreciate you guys being here. And Tia Reynolds, thank you for those very kind comments. We are just pleased you're with us. So let's go ahead and take a really quick break, Mike, and we'll get back into some trade setups.
Excellent.
So, you want to be a trader? Well, you should know you're not alone. Over the past several years, record numbers of people have set up their very own online trading accounts. There's never been an easier time or more inexpensive way for do-it-yourselfers to get started trading the financial markets.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at NinjaTrader.com. Technical analysis made easy. A starting place for new traders. When do I place my trade? Where do I set my stop loss or profit target? All good questions that traders need to answer on a regular basis. One of the ways traders get to those answers is by using technical analysis in a historical price chart.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers building trading indicators and more. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started today.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at NinjaTrader.com.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers building trading indicators and more. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started today.
we are back with some more economic news. Michigan a survey just came out, consumer sentiment, I think it's called. And the University of Michigan sentiment final actual was 77.2, forecast 77.9, previous 77.9. So pretty close to being on point there, Mike.
Yeah, so this is a scale of 1 to 100, and we've been in this 77 point something range for the last 4 reports. So, we're down a little bit, but yeah, I don't think it's a hiccup.
Yeah,
Or
and by the way, folks,
it is a hiccup, rather.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean, it's not a big deal.
Oh,
It's
I
just-
see.
It's just a short-term hiccup here.
All right, we don't need
70.
we don't need the Heimlich maneuver. It's all good.
Correct. We're not choking on anything here. We're still in a fairly decent level here for consumer sentiment. And why wouldn't we be? Employment is great. Prices are high, yes, but people are spending.
Yeah, for sure. So, and by the way, folks, if you don't look at this report, it's a good report to look at because there's a whole bunch of other categories too. So we won't go into we won't bore you with the details, but it's something that's worth a read, I think.
Agreed.
So, Mike, stock index futures are trying to make new highs right now. With that wick high when we opened at 51.34, we have my target wick in play. I think we're going to achieve that today, if not shortly. I see this, just the trend is pretty strong right now since, pre-market.
Yeah, we need to put a market order into buy right here.
Oh, wow. You're getting aggressive here. All right. I'm going to put a limit order and see if I could. I'm using the chart trader just for right now, but let me get us filled. All right. We got a micro going. We have 1 unit in the micro going right this second.
Perfect.
So we'll just let it ride, or should we add a second? Should we just a second level, or just kind of wait to see what happens?
So I want to buy a second one as we get closer to that high wick over there. So somewhere just below that high wick, we'll put in a second buy stop.
Wow, let's talk about this. This is fancy. So what Mike's suggesting is let's go ahead and get long a unit. Everything's looking strong. Series of higher highs, series of higher lows. Decent economic news just came out. And then, but instead of buying something on a retracement, let's wait for this rally to confirm itself and then buy a second unit once we approach the target wick here that we achieved back at 8:30. Did I articulate that okay?
That's the idea. So, those levels there, that previous high, that's going to be a tough level to get through. You usually have to test it once or twice. So, we tested it. I didn't want to wait for the second time in case this was a runner right off the bat. So, and that's why we placed a market order. We didn't wait for it to come back up and test. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of selling off of that level. But if this market is strong, we're going to be back up there again. And the next time there's a good chance that we'll break through it.
Okay. And then on the breakthrough, we got a lot of white space up here, Mike. we have a lot of white space on the upside. So it's the targets, I would go back to a daily chart and say, is there an obvious target? Which there really isn't, right? There isn't an obvious target on the daily chart, I don't think. So then we'd be back to thinking about where's the pivots at? Our one's pretty high up. We have year line in the sand way up here. So there's a lot of potential on the upside, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This, one of the things that you want to try to achieve in your trading is you want to let the market work for you. So you want to put on a trade, and not every trade is going to be a winner, but the ones that are, you want to maximize them, especially if the market is running. And so it's a good idea to at least put on 2 contracts so that one, you can reach a target profit and take some profits and then set your stop at break even and let the other one run and see what's possible, and so that's kind of my philosophy in trading. I'm not going to be right all the time, but when I am right, I want to have a big winner. It feels good to have that big winner. And so that only can happen if you let the market run on one of those units. The other thing that's very important to me is that I don't let a winning trade turn into a losing trade. So if I put on 2 units, I reach a profit target, I immediately set a break-even stop. So I'm not going to turn a winner into a loser. I always have, once I've made money on that first unit, I'm at break-even, and then I'm letting the second unit run.
Got it. Okay, so that makes there's a lot to unpack here on this 2-unit trade idea, right? Because we're going to end up with an average price if we get filled, approximately 36-ish, maybe give or take a tick. And so if the market continues past our second entry, it's at a certain point, then you're going to move your stop to that break even.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we get up there. We'll see if we drive up there. So really the stop is dynamic based on the second unit being achieved. I'm just going to throw in a catastrophic stop here, Mike, just so we're protected on the downside.
Absolutely. So basically what I would do is I would make it the same distance from the entrance to that second unit. So somewhere, I think that's a little low, but I think somewhere around 51.24 would be a good place for the stop.
Okay, so you're measuring. Okay, very interesting. Well, and it's a nice placement because we're above we're below the wick of the candle that just completed.
Correct.
So that's a good strategy. All right, well, here we go. We have continuation buying. I'm like, I don't even want to go to another market. I'm too excited to see what happens here.
So again, this is kind of an opening range breakout trade, right? Where you're not looking at the high and low, you're looking at the open and close. So when I look at the opening range, I ignore the wicks. I want to know what the highest close was, what the lowest close was during the opening range, and that's where I'll break out. I ignore those wicks.
Okay.
It just so happened.
That makes,
It just so happens here that high of the opening range, was, just right there, right around 51.26.
Yeah, where my crosshairs is, I'm going to try to throw a little line in there to remind us.
Yeah. So if we would have gotten to this chart a little bit earlier, I think we would have been in around 51.28.
Okay. Top of the opening range is defined by the body of the candle, not the wick. That's the breakout level. That's when you jump into action, when you get busy, right at 10 o'clock. And then, we relate to the party.
Yeah, a little bit, but better late than never, especially if this market has a runner.
Yeah. I mean, we're, anytime you're invited to a party, you should be happy.
And the thing is, sometimes you get lost. You can't find the house. The party's already going.
Oh man, we have GPS now, Mike, and cars that drive themselves. I'm getting to that party.
Well, I'm an autonomous car driving guy. I love that idea.
I didn't until I remember I talked about it. Everybody who will listen to this story, I'm going to tell. The Uber driver picks me up in that Tesla long. It's called Long Y or Y Tesla Y Long. It was so wonderful. No hands, smooth. I didn't get seasick like I do sometimes when I'm being driven around. It's beautiful.
The car is very safe. It's a good car.
Yeah. Can't talk Mrs. Keggs into getting one though. I think she's still a little worried about the don't touch the steering wheel part because we have these big bridges we got to cross over. They're a little intimidating. So I understand. Ripper 24 says a miss on the University of Michigan. Bad news is good news. I just glanced at some of the headline numbers. I don't know if that was that big of a miss.
Yeah, I don't think it was a miss. I think it was a little. He's right. It was a little miss, but the last 4 reports have all been in that area. So we would have to see a spike of 5 or 10 points in either direction for it to be a hit or a miss.
Yeah, I gotcha. Oh,
that-
okay. So tragic is pronounced tragic. I was going to say that, but I was trying to TR4 GIK11 is tragic.
Good to know.
Thanks for being here, and we appreciate your kind words. We really do. Thank you. So here we are waiting. You know, I just don't want to move because I'm just glued to this trade idea. It's so far so good.
All right, I'm going to force you. Let's look at nat gas.
We're going to be coming right back here. I'm telling you. Nat gas. Let's see. I'm going to go to my energy markets. NG. Well, let's let the data come in here. Well, let's look at, wow. Look at that. This is a daily chart first, Mike.
Yep. So this is something Tom and I talked about. That gap is the rollover gap. You know how crude oil is in backwardation?
Yep.
Nat gas is in an incredible contango. In fact, this was, it's 30 cents each contract out going forward. So we were at 1.8. It gapped up to 2.1. And now it's starting to kind of come back to reality. The next contract is at 2.35. So, you know, when this contract rolls, it's going to gap up to 2.35, or it may change. Obviously, that could change between now and then, right? But this 30-cent contango moving forward is incredible for this market. Why is that? I have no idea. What do you think?
I don't know either. You know, and the gap could, you know, the front month and the next month the spread could, you know, lessen as we get to expiration. But, you know, just looking at this, it's, you know, you got the rollover, but then you also have the gap, and you have quite a different pricing level at the front month of the contract. Which is, I think, is kind of unique here. I don't know what to make of it, other than we're trying to fill the gap. And I want to warn everybody, gaps don't always get filled. So be careful with that theory.
Well, the thing is, Tom thought, Tom's thinking here was that, now it completely went out of my head what Tom's thinking was.
Okay.
It'll be back to the left there, back in early March. We hit that 1.95 level. If you draw a line there, we're breaking that level right now.
Yeah.
And in reality, in the cash spot nat gas market, I think that market is more comfortable at a 1.8 level or a 1.75 level. So even with premium built into it, so premium is the carry cost and the interest rate that gets added to the spot price, which makes up the futures price, right? So the problem though with that theory as well is that these contracts are monthly, so there's not a ton of premium in these contracts. So this was just a complete surprise to me, to be perfectly honest. But I do think that eventually this market is going to normalize back to that 1.8 level. So I think I think there is some downward sentiment here based on that. I think price happiness, to use your term, is somewhere around a $1.80 to $1.75.
Yeah. So I highlighted that with a regional highlight tool on the software, on the charting software. And what I'm thinking, I'm looking at this range in terms of how many bars traded through that range on my screen. And it's every one, every single bar, right? And
Yes.
these are daily bars. So that another measure of price happiness is that, right? Yeah, we bisected it. We don't stick there, but we're trading through that price level. And so with that in mind, yeah, maybe we are going to fill this gap and get there sooner than later.
Yeah, I love that analysis, the idea that you pick a range and how many bars penetrated that range. And, you know, you could do the same thing with crude oil for that matter. If it gets above that range too far, it comes back in. If it gets below that range too far, it comes back in. And that's what you're seeing here. And that's what my bias is here, that this market, even with that amazing gap up will be down there. And again, that big red benchmark candle up there on the gap is also kind of negative as far as what the sentiment is here.
Yeah. It's a big red bar. So, but yeah, the whole idea of price happiness, and again, our friend Dan Graham's kind of put this in my head. It's where there's it's viewed as being equilibrium in the marketplace. In other words, a fair kind of level. I know the marketplace is never incorrect in its pricing, but where there's happiness in a longer term point of view, where buyers and sellers are more comfortable. And I think it's a good way to think of it.
Agreed.
All right. Where are we at here? Roaming around the cabin. Any other markets, Mike, that you really want to nail down right now?
You're on a daily, right? Let's
Yeah,
look
you
at
want
that.
me to go?
No, that's
Intraday?
perfect. No, yeah, let's look at that 10-year yield futures. It's down a little
All
bit
right.
today.
Let's do it. 10-year April. Now this is going to roll, I think, in a couple of days here too. So keep that in mind. But this is the 10-year CME Group micro yield contract right now.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. This contract stops trading on the last day of the month, the last trading day of the month, and rolls to the next one. So that you're trading the contract in the month you're in. So I've made the mistake several times of not closing the position at the end of the month, which might, and so it's a pain in the neck to wait for that to clear. So just be sure you close that position. You close that position or roll it before the end of the month. That's a great point.
Yeah, right. And yeah, Ninja will warn you if you get to that point. But this is cash settled anyway, so it's not the end of the world. You're not gonna have a 10-year note, $100,000 10-year note delivered to your house, or a $10,000 note delivered to your house.
It's just a hassle, and you don't know what the settlement price is. It's just a pain. So just close it. Don't let it.
It's best practices, no question. Close it or roll it.
It's funny. Same thing with options, by the way. I mean, you have something that's close to at the money, and you decide, I'm just going to let it expire, and I'll let the broker settle it. That is a dangerous thing to do in the options world, because there is aftermarket action. There's all kinds of things that can happen between the time the market closes and your option settles. Don't be lazy as a trader. Close your position or roll it, and you'll avoid so many potential problems.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to hear what my wife tells the kids. You get what you get, and you don't have a fit. I don't know if she made that up or not, but I like it.
My son told me that when he was in grammar school, he heard that a lot from the teacher.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Is it Catholic school or no?
No.
All right. Anyway, all right. So this is interesting though, just to kind of look at the chart now that we have it up. I mean, that 8 exponential moving average has acted like a ladder. I mean, not a ladder, a staircase. I mean, we've been just stepping up through it pretty nicely here. So I'm kind of intrigued by that. We do have an equal and opposite candle brewing so far today. So bonds are railing a little bit, and the yield is inversely related. Interest rates are inversely related. So it's breaking down right now. But we still had that peak. We saw that peak of 4.735, which this is a 10-year note. So we're a little bit away from the 5 still, but we'll see if this is just a pause. This equal and opposite candle is a pause, or if we resume our way up. I don't know.
Yeah, so this is not looking good to me. We have higher highs and higher lows. And, this just looks like a little bit of a pullback in a continuation of an uptrend. Without any guidance on rate cuts, this market is going to meander higher. It's going to continue higher. The rates are going to go, these rates are just going to go higher. The dollar is going to go higher. I don't see anything stopping this.
Right. I mean, we need some closes below the trend line. We need some closes below that exponential before I'm going to be anything but bullish here.
Oh yeah, we need lower lows. We haven't had a lower low in, quite a while here.
Yeah. I mean, look at
So
this. Look at that area of support. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row. I mean, this has been pretty stable.
yeah, I agree. Today's just a typical pullback. You see it a lot. If you look back, to the right, anytime there's a little bit of a move up, there's a red candle and then another move up and a red candle. Sometimes there's two red candles, but the trend is clearly up here, and there's nothing to stop it.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit of dilemma going on, combination of FOMC, inflation, and Capitol Hill spending. So
So FOMC is next week, right?
FOMC is next week. Yeah, it's Wednesday, and there's no summary of economic projections associated with this meeting. That's every other meeting, the expectation is really no action to be taken, which would kind of make this a nothing burger type of event. But you never know.
Yeah, we have a couple of events talking about this. We have a couple of events next week talking about FOMC. Those will be good. And it's always good to kind of just reinforce what we know about, what the Fed is doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, how it affects the futures market. So even though this particular meeting isn't particularly compelling, it's still a good learning opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We have some time left. We could go back and do a lessons learned on the MES trade.
Okay.
If you want. We're still in the game.
We didn't hit that next one, almost.
Yeah, we missed it by a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. But the previous candle is still, we have 4 minutes left. The previous candle is still a higher high and a higher low. So no, actually we have a lower low now. Didn't see that.
But that lower low is supported by the high of yesterday.
Yeah.
So
right.
If I would still let this run. I'll be honest with you. I would have a meandering exit around noon. So if this market is still meandering where it is now, I'm not really making money. I'm not really losing money. Around noon, I would close this position and take a lunch break just like everybody else.
Okay. Well, that's, and we're talking noon East Coast time, folks, on that comment.
Correct.
Hey, Dan Greganis is with us. AT Home ATM is here with us. Thanks, folks, for being here. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Let's roam about the cabin really quick, Mike. Here, Micro.
Did you want to look at a currency?
Yeah, we can. I'm kind of like, okay, which one? We'll see how my charts react to my currency data. Still
so let's look at a daily.
Funky.
We'll go to daily.
All right, let's
and let's look at something interesting. We saw the yen earlier, which is which is just not doing well. We're trading near the lows. We're at 0.0064. That's 155, 156 to the dollar. I mean, what a mess they are having over there. I just can't imagine I imagine that our Fed meetings are fun. Everybody's kind of has a good sense of humor. Austin Schoolsby is funny and smart. I'm sure that those guys, it's a raucous, when they're together. In the Bank of Japan, it's all stone-faced. No one wants to say anything, and that's their problem. They need a sense of humor over there.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's funny because the CPI came out too, right? And they call it the Tokyo CPI. I'm not sure why they do that, but this was last night. And, their core year over year was 1.6. Forecast was 1.2. So just kind of coming up with an analogy here, it's like, all right, you're achieving your 2% target and then maybe too much. And, maybe it's time to do something. So they had that data kind of supporting action as well yesterday, and we're not getting it.
Yeah, exactly. They have room in the inflation numbers to actually raise rates pretty significantly. I mean, for them significantly, right? And it would be good for the economy. It would be good for, I mean, a little bit of inflation isn't a bad thing when everything else is going south. So yeah, I don't get it. Let's take a look at the euro.
Euro FX. Well, interesting kind of pattern here. I mean, we're having this little bit of a rally here off of these lows, and I think Eric Norland kind of articulated that pretty well last night. With he's not so sure who's going to be the first to cut rates anymore.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's in the same kind of 5.5 boat right now anyway. So yeah, I'm not sure who's willing to do that either. This is kind of an interesting down day today. The dollar doesn't seem that particularly strong. So maybe the euro is a little weaker than we think it is.
Yeah, could be. We got a bearish engulfing right now going into the weekend. So it'll be interesting. Like you said, though, you said dollar strong. It is.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, this looks like a classic, you know, pullback in a downtrend. You know, so, you know, we'll see if it continues lower next week, but.
Yep. All right. Well, Mike, thanks for being here with me this morning. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And
Sorry, you caught me off guard there. Thank you. This has been fun. You know, I mean, I usually, you know, you and I've done the wrap-up show a couple of times. That's always fun. So I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. The segment counter got to 0 and I was like, uh-oh. Mission Control is going to be mad at us. So we'll have safe travels, Mike, when you get back to get back home, and we will regroup with you then.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Good luck in your trading. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Let's take a really quick break and we'll get right back to it.
So, you want to be a trader? Well, you should know you're not alone. Over the past several years, record numbers of people have set up their very own online trading accounts. There's never been an easier time or more inexpensive way for do-it-yourselfers to get started trading the financial markets.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at NinjaTrader.com. Technical analysis made easy. A starting place for new traders. When do I place my trade? Where do I set my stop loss or profit target? All good questions that traders need to answer on a regular basis. One of the ways traders get to those answers is by using technical analysis in a historical price chart.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers building trading indicators and more. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started today.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at NinjaTrader.com.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers building trading indicators and more. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started today.
All right, we are back, folks. NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. Appreciate everybody being here with me on a glorious Sunday. Hopefully it's nice wherever you are located at. So we've talked a lot about ATM strategies in recent streams. And we're going to move to the market analyzer today. We're going to talk a little bit more about the market analyzer today. It's that rectangle on the right-hand side of my screen. And if you're coming from another trading platform, the word market analyzer might seem a little odd to you. It looks like a quote board, right? We have the markets here called instruments, all in a column. And this is how I've personalized mine, and you can personalize yours however you'd like. And not only that, you could have more than one market analyzer open at the same time if you wanted to have two. And then finally, at the very bottom, there's a little ability to create a tab, right? A market analyzer series of tabs. So why would somebody do that? Well, maybe you just wanted a tab for energy markets, and then maybe you just wanted to have a tab for metals markets. So that's just one idea of why you may want to do it. Or maybe you just want to have different information, different columns associated with it. But I just have one right here. I'm just showing one right here. We're going to focus on that. And again, I have instruments, markets on the left. The last price, right? This is, where the last price in the column next to it. And some people like to have, the bid ask prices on there. I don't like that. Doesn't help me too much. The futures markets move too quick. Daily volume is really important to me. We have a high volume day, a low volume day, a normal day. So I'm tracking volume. And then I have the net change, right? And I added this net change here just to kind of see how far up or how far down we are from the previous day's settlement. So that gives me kind of a guideline to give me some more information. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? We could add all sorts of stuff here. So let's do a couple of examples. And to add a column, and I want to position my windows so you guys could see them the best way possible here. I'm going to right click on the market analyzer. Now I'm going to change my market there. Sorry about that. Right click on the market analyzer, and I get a bunch, this menu appears, right? There's all sorts of stuff here. Add instruments, create lists, add blank rows, all the formatting stuff we talked about before. Now there's alerts and columns. Let's click on columns. So when you click on columns, after you right click, it's going to give you a dialog box, a property box, right? And these are all of the columns you could add. And there's a lot of them here. There's a lot of things to consider. So some of these won't apply to futures traders. Some of them will. But we're going to go ahead and add a couple of things, right? You could add daily high as an example, daily low is an example. That's a couple of pieces of data that some people might find interesting. Days until rollover, right? These are futures contracts. They roll over. They're not permanent, right? So let's go ahead and just double click on that. We'll double click on that, and it sends it down, right? It went from the available column down to the configured area here on the actual on the dialog box, and you can see it's highlighted, right? Days until rollover, and then you could color code it if you want, right? You could do stuff with it if you want, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit apply and OK. And it'll add a column, right? Let's go back to the E-mini S&P just so we have it. It'll add a column. Let me open this up a little bit more. days till rollover. So this gives you an idea, right? This gives you an idea when any given contract is about to, the front month that we're trading is about to expire, right? So that's just one idea, right? Just one thing to add. It's really easy to do, and it's expressed in days, and it's, you know, could be a helpful kind of thing. And you could see most things here aren't going to roll for a while. But as Mike Burke pointed out in the last session, you know, we have the 10-year that's going to roll, the 10-year micro yield. It's going to go from April to May, and we see a 3 there. So we know that's going to happen in 3 days. So that could help, especially if you're holding positions, or if you have the old front month up. You don't want the old front month up usually, because you want to see the volume that has the most liquidity to it, and that's generally the front month. So that's just kind of one area, one simple thing to add, right? One simple thing to add. So we could add more, though. We could add more stuff. Let's go ahead and right click again, and let's go to columns. We'll open up that dialog box again. Now, one of the really interesting things is we could add indicator numbers to this. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's scroll down here until we find the word indicator, right? If we listed all the indicators on this column thing, this column view, we'd be scrolling for a while. So let's click on indicators, right? And we'll double click on it. We'll send it down here to configure. Now, once you send it down here, it shows ADL on a 1-minute chart. And you're like, wait a second, I added indicators. I didn't add ADL on a 1-minute chart. But just realize that this is just the first indicator on the list. And if you go to the property side, that drop-down menu will show you all of them, right? We'll show you all of them. So now you can scroll and pick the one that you would like, right? You could pick the one that you would like, and you could scroll down. And I don't know, let's pick MACD. We'll just double click on MACD, right? I think that's something we could add. And so I've changed it to MACD, and I want to kind of make sure my settings are right. 12, 26, 9, that sounds pretty good. Input series closed based on last price. This is the important part, right? Type is a minute and value is 1. I'm saying I want this calculation to run on a 1-minute basis, right? But as we know, I'm going to use a 10-minute chart. So I'm going to change this to a 10 so that it matches my chart. Right now, you don't have to do it that way. You could make it 5 or 1 or whatever you'd like, 30, 60, if you wanted to track that. But I want to just track it so maybe I won't have to even put it on my chart, right, as a study. So we'll keep that value at 10. I'm going to scroll down. My next thing that's kind of interesting that I want to check out is calculate, right? I want to calculate on bar close. No, I want to calculate on price change, right? You could do each tick, but when you do each tick, you're using more processing power, right, and your computer. So make sure you have a good setup. Price change for me is good. On price change for me is good enough. So that's what I'm going to select there. And then if you wanted to do some colors, right? So remember, the background is, well, it looks white here, but it's transparent, right? Which is the same as white for this purpose. And so you could change your background to a different color if you like, just for this column. We're not going to do that, but we could change the color. A color for foreground. This is going to be the actual data that goes in that column. I have it set at black. So, and we'll talk about conditions next, but in the meantime, let's hit apply. And then once that applies, we're going to hit OK. And then the data will start coming in, right? The data will start coming in. So now I can see, again, it could be any economic release, really. Any indicator, really. But I'm looking at, every single market's level, right? Every single market's MACD right now is showing right there, is showing in this particular column here. So it kind of, it's kind of helpful because instead of toggling between a whole bunch of different charts to look at what the MACD is doing, I could kind of use that as kind of a visual kind of aid, if you will. And I can say, all right, well, is there anything out of whack here that I should take a look at, right? So this is, I'm looking at one of these, this oscillator in particular, to see if there's anything out of whack that I want to look at. And then I could toggle to that particular chart. So that's just basic data there, right? Basic data there. And you can color code it to be like, hey, I want it to be green if it's above 0. I want it to be red if it's below 0. And we're going to go ahead and do that with the next study that we add here. So I'm going to go back again, and anywhere in this chart here, I'm just going to right click, and I'm going to go to columns again. opens this up again. So let's add our RSI. Let's add RSI to this thing. So I'm going to scroll down here, and then I'm going to look for the word indicator. I'm going to double click on that. It's going to add another instance of the indicator. This is the second instance, right? We could have as many of these as you want. So now you're starting to see the power of the market analyzer, because you could really customize this to give you the data that you want to do. And as it did the last time, ADL on a 1-minute chart data, that's the default. I'm going to go to the right-hand side, and I'm going to scroll down to where I get to see RSI. So where is RSI? RSI, well, it's right there, relative strength index. I'm going to click on that, and the properties box is going to populate with the data. 14 period, fine, we'll leave it there. Smooth 3, we'll leave it there. Minute, nope, we're going to change it to a 10-minute. Again, my preference, because it's going to match my chart. And then I'm going to go down to calculate on price change. I'm going to do that. Oops, I'm sorry, on price change. And then we'll hit apply. And it's going to add that column to the market analyzer on the right-hand side, right? I could move the order around if I'd like, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But it's right there on the right-hand side, RSI. Now, I want to color code this one, right? Because we know over at 70, over 70, we're overbought, and under 30, we're oversold. So let's color code this a little bit. I'm going to go down to conditions, sell conditions down here, right? And we see 0 conditions are selected, but I'm going to click on that. Now, this is where maybe it's a little less intuitive if you're brand new to the software, right? It's not a drop-down menu or anything. You got to move your mouse to where it says 0 conditions, and then you'll be prompted with add condition, right? All right, so we're on the right track. We're going the right way here. I'm going to click on that. It's going to open up another cell dialog box, we call it. It's empty right now, right? But we're going to change that. We're going to click on the word add. And once we do that, it gives us the ability to set some parameters. Change cell value if equals 0 is the default. But really, we want to say, hey, if we're greater than or equal to, a value, let's say this value is going to be 70, then we want to change the color of the actual RSI number in the column of the market analyzer. And I'll just hit that drop-down menu, and we'll say, hey, for anything that's overbought, I'm going to make it green. Now, I'm not done yet, because I want to see what happens if we're less than 30. So I'm going to add a second instance in the configuration area. I'm going to hit add again, and the default comes up, and it mimics what we did already, and we're going to change it. We're going to hit that condition drop down and say less than or equal to 30, right? If we're less than or equal to 30, I want the foreground to be maroon. Now, notice I kept the color for the background a transparent. Again, you could change the color of the background too if you want to get fancy. You could do that. So now I'm going to hit. I have two different conditions that I've defined. The first one is, hey, if this RSI is above 70, right? Then make the letters green. Make the numbers green. If it's below 30, make a maroon or red or whatever color you want. And I'll hit OK. And then I'm going to apply again. And it will populate OK. And we don't have a lot of data here that actually meets the criteria, but we do have some. So it's all black, it's all black. And then we get down here to the energy sector, right? And we could say, wow, look at this. We have some of the front months in crude oil are red, right? They're less than 30, right? So again, oversold perhaps in the July, September, October, and December contract. Maybe I want to see something that's interesting there. Or let's go down to gold. Corn, December 2024. We see we have green color coded RSI at 88.92. So that's way above 70. So we've added these categories, these color coding things that you could do. Again, visual clue, right? If you wanted the background to change too, you could do that as well, to give you another kind of highlight, right? Let's do that. Let's right click. Let's go to columns. And let's select, let's see. We'll select the RSI, the one we could do MACD, right? Well, we'll do the RSI since we already started doing it. All right, so RSI, we've color coded these conditions. Let's just double check what they are. And we left the foreground, right? We left the color transparent, right? So let's say for overbought, we want the background to turn to, I don't know, yellow. That's an idea. And then we want the background to turn to yellow again if we're oversold. And so I'm just going to click on that color for background. It's really simple. Hit apply and OK. Apply. And there you have it. So now we even have a better visual clue, right? Okay, so I'm looking for something that's, the background is yellow, and boom, I found one, the Euro FX, 27.36 on a 10-minute RSI. And then I could kind of click on that, look at the chart, and I'm off to the races. Same with silver's kind of toggling around that 30 level. You just saw it kind of change from red to there we go. It's back to yellow. And, again, you can click on that and you could pull up, I have these two things synced together. So give it a second here to populate. But that's how I would do this, how I would work this particular strategy. So let's keep going though, because we could do more than this. We could do a lot more than this. Let's go back to the columns. We'll go back to columns again. Get that guy up there. And what else could we add? Well, you could spend a lot of time just going through some of this stuff. Some of the stuff like market cap probably wouldn't apply here on a futures chart. Just keep that in mind. But sorry for that delayed rollover there. But something that could be helpful is realized profit and loss. And then there's an unrealized profit and loss, right? So you could add those as well. So if let's say you're trading multiple markets and you wanted to see, how you're doing is an example. So let's go ahead and just double click and add that column there. We could add conditions if we wanted to. Is our realized P&L positive or negative? You could color code that. But again, you're just going to hit apply. And then you're going to hit OK. And then you're going to get that column here, right? And that column will populate what, your trades when they come in. So a ton of really kind of interesting pieces of information. Now, another thing to consider when you're building your market analyzer, market analyzers, and remember, you're going to launch it. You're going to launch them from this new button, right? You'll launch it. You could have a second one, right? If I wanted to click and have a second complete module window for market analyzer, I'd click on that, and then I'd get the blank one that I could make my own, right? That I could make my own. Alternatively, right, I could use the tabs at the bottom here. I could use the tabs at the bottom here to create a new one also, right? And, this one could be, it could be unique to an idea, right? It could maybe be the stock index futures plus the micros as an example. And then you could have a whole series of data populate in columns, right? Maybe you don't want to have on your main tab, maybe you don't want to have MACD, RSI, or realized P&L or days to roll on it. Maybe you want to have these specialty kind of columns on another tab. And so that's easy to do. Now, to clean these up, right click, again, going back to columns, it's easy to kind of delete stuff and move stuff around, right? The columns are configured down at the bottom here. There's a scroll bar, which helps you see that. And if you want to delete one, you just highlight it and hit remove, right? If you want to move one up, highlight it, and then you'll see this word up. Click on up, it moves it. And once you apply it, it'll change the position of the column on the actual market analyzer. And so I'm going to move that one up. I'm going to get rid of days till roll. I don't need that. I'm going to keep my RSI tight here. And I'm even going to get rid of MACD. I'm just going to remove that. So I'm going to end up with the instrument or the market, right? Last price, daily volume, net change, and then the RSI and 10-minute data. I'm going to hit apply. And OK. All right. Now, it's easy to kind of format this, right? I could drag. This is just like any window here in NinjaTrader. You grab the border. You could modulize it. Maybe you have multiple monitors. Maybe you don't have multiple monitors. And then you could kind of make the columns skinnier by moving your mouse up to the header, right? Here's the header, instrument, last price, daily volume, net change, RSI. And then you could just kind of format things that way as well, by highlighting stuff you really want to see, and then muting stuff you don't want to see too much. So that's a pretty easy trick right there. Moving it over again. Got a lot of red. We got a lot of yellow. We have a lot of yellow. So let's just do a reality check real quick. Let's go. Look at this market is on the move. Let's go to ES, E-mini S&P. You see that RSI is going to be moving around 63-ish. And if I match it up to my chart, I totally messed up my chart here. Hang on, everybody. Going to 63. And you can see it's going to move around. It's going to move around in sync, these two numbers, as they move in real time. So, oopsie. So that's how you add RSI. Easy peasy. What else could I show you here with this market analyzer? It's very powerful. As I mentioned before, let's add a couple more columns here. Let's go ahead and again, we're right clicking in the white spot. And we're going to go to columns again. We'll talk about alerts next time. Alerts are pretty cool. We can get alerts on all sorts of stuff, audio alerts, as well as visual alerts on the software. We'll talk about that next time. But in the meantime, let's see if there's any other columns we'd like to add, any other things we'd like to look at here as well. So one of the things that Tom and Mike do that I do differently is the net change. I like to see the net change in points, right? Not percentages. But let's say you wanted to do both. You wanted to have net change with the raw number, right? And also with the percentage. So I'm just going to go down to net change, and I'm going to double click it again, and I'm going to add a second instance of net change to the actual columns, and I'll highlight that net change. We can call it net change, percent if you want, net change P, whatever you want. And I'm going to keep the unit percent, right? I'm not going to change the unit to points. I'm going to keep it at percent, right? I'm going to keep it at percent. And so what the other thing I could do again is color code. So I hit that add conditions here in the cell area, and I'll hit that add. And let's see, what conditions could we apply here? Well, equals, no, we want a net change that is greater than or equal to 0. We want that to be green, right? And then the second condition will be, if we're less than 0, then we want it to be red or maroon or whatever color you choose. Again, we'll leave the background the same. We're going to hit OK. Hit the apply button. And now we have this net change way on the right that's color coded. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this, again, I'm going to slide this column over, and I'm just going to go ahead and select net change P, and I'm going to just hit that up button, hit apply, hit OK, and there we have it. So let me expand my market analyzer a little bit to cover some more real estate so we could see it a little bit better. And then we have this net change percent. I should have written out percent. My bad. I'm not doing that. But this is net change percent. And then we'll see it's totally in sync. Color coding. Now I have it maroon instead of red. Again, you could play with the colors however you want. You could even color the backgrounds if it's important to you, which is fine. I like the white background. It's easier for me to see. You might like a black background with white numbers. I don't know, however you want to customize it. That's the beauty of not only the market analyzer, but the software itself. You could customize it and make it your own. So this is kind of an interesting view to me. And this is kind of important data for me as well. Keep in mind, the more stuff you pull in here, the more data is being crunched, right? Keep that in mind too. And, we talked about this before. There's very little things you could control, right? You cannot control the market price. You can't control the news cycle. You can't control unplanned news. And to a certain extent, you can't control what happens once data is left your place of trading, right? But one of the things you could control is your hardware, right? And your internet connection. So those are two things that you can control. And I recommend, highly recommend making sure that you have, one, a dedicated workspace, right? To your, that you're going to use, a dedicated workspace for trading, right? You might not want to be doing gaming and watching, well, it won't be TikTok videos anymore, YouTube videos, or playing games or doing homework and all this other stuff. You have a dedicated workstation. I know you're going to have to spend some money, but really good laptop right now and a monitor, which could drive a lot of this stuff, extra monitor, isn't, in the scheme of things, is a wise investment, right? A wise investment. Good processor. Plug in to your internet if you can. I know Wi-Fi is a big thing here. I'm sorry, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Yeah, I guess I would go with Wi-Fi on that. It's very, it's prevalent. It's everywhere. But by plugging in, if you could plug into your router or your hardware, that's even better. So I know I'm off the script a little bit here, but I did want to mention that as well. All right. Any questions on using it? We're getting close on time. We have a couple minutes left, and coming up next, there's going to be more NinjaTrader tips and tricks with the fabulous Ed Jurken. He's going to be joining me. He's my colleague at NinjaTrader. He's headquartered in Chicago, and we're going to take a peek into the portal a little bit more and kind of come up with some best practices on how to navigate through that portal. After that half-hour segment, we also have Ryan Krebs, which is going to introduce to us 3 new ecosystem partners, plugins for the NinjaTrader software, add-ons, or however you want to look at that. And we're going to talk about that in detail. We'll share that information as well. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of segments here at NinjaTrader. So having said that, I think we went through what we wanted to go through on the market analyzer. And I might keep this look and feel handy for me right now. I'm not sure if I like the yellow too much on the background, but we'll consider keeping it or maybe muting it a little bit. And just to remind everybody, I have mine broken into asset classes. We have crypto at the top, equities next, currencies after that, treasuries, the whole yield curve is here, metals, energies, and then grains at the bottom. Let's not forget about the grains at the bottom here. So that's just how I have mine organized. You can organize yours any way you'd like. If you have any questions or you need some, you making observations, feel free to shoot out an email to me at learn, Learn, at ninjatrader.com, and we'll get back to you. I appreciate your participation here today. So we're going to go ahead and take a really quick break, and we're going to get Ed Jurken with us in a minute. Hang tight.
So, you want to be a trader? Well, you should know you're not alone. Over the past several years, record numbers of people have set up their very own online trading accounts. There's never been an easier time or more inexpensive way for do-it-yourselfers to get started trading the financial markets.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at NinjaTrader.com. Technical analysis made easy. A starting place for new traders. When do I place my trade? Where do I set my stop loss or profit target? All good questions that traders need to answer on a regular basis. One of the ways traders get to those answers is by using technical analysis in a historical price chart.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers, building trading indicators, and more. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started today.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at NinjaTrader.com.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers, building trading indicators, and more. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started today.
All right, we are back. Joining me live right now from the Chicago headquarters, the fabulous Ed Jurken. Ed, good morning.
Jim, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Mike Burke just kind of, reported he was in Chicago, and the weather wasn't as nice as Miami, but he had a great time.
Well, that's good that he had a nice time. Yeah, the weather here is crummy, but we're gonna have a few nice months ahead, so it's tough to, I can handle 50 degrees in my sleep as a born and bred Midwesterner. So.
Well, you're from like Wisconsin, though, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm from Milwaukee, so about an hour and a half from Chicago. It gets a little bit snowier, a little bit colder, but nothing like far up north over by Canada. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here with us today. The NinjaTrader, I'm going to refer to as the portal, which is probably not correct, but navigating through, it's, some folks have been with us a long time. This might be a little bit new for some of the folks, but there's a lot of stuff going on. It's very powerful. Yeah. So I was hoping you could walk us through some of the key points here that we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. And this client portal, or I guess the technical term is the account dashboard, it puts a lot of tools at your fingertips. And previously, I've been working at NinjaTrader 7.5 years now, and a lot of the stuff that a customer can do on this portal, they would have had to have called in or written in, talked to one of our reps, and taken care of some of those things. And we put a lot more power in our traders' hands now with this. And as somebody that talks to a lot of customers here at NinjaTrader, and I feel like I have a sense of what's going on. I feel like maybe there's not as much awareness of what you can and what you can actually do with this. So this is your dashboard right here. You're going to notice right off the bat.
Ed, real quick.
Yeah.
So you've already logged into your account, right?
Correct. Exactly.
And you could get to here either in SIM account or with a funded money account, right?
Yep, exactly. In fact, when you sign up for your free demo of NinjaTrader, you have access to some of these tools. And then, of course, when you have a live account, you'd use that same username and password. You can get here by going to NinjaTrader.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a button that says Login. And it'll take you right here after you enter in your username and password. So,
got it.
Yep, and this is the home screen that we're looking at. The thing that I want to point out right off of the bat is this little blue icon up here. So this is really going to be your starting point for managing your account. So I invite you to, when you get in here, to go in, check that out, click it, and then go to settings. So up here, we've got a number of different tabs. And this is where you can, again, manage your account. And we'll start with, naturally enough, with accounts. So the thing that I want to point out first is risk settings. What this will allow you to do is actually set limits for profits and losses for each trading session and each week. So if you find yourself, wanting to maybe set a limit for each day, like I want to limit my losses to, $100, or when I make $100, I want to close things down, and I want to have a little extra layer of protection so that that actually happens and I don't keep trading. You can set that up in here, and it's as easy as clicking one of these on, putting in whatever you want your daily loss limit to be, or your daily profit trigger. Let's do each of these. Let's do 200 for the profit, 100 for the loss.
So Ed,
Mhm.
Ed, quick question. So
Sure.
for the loss, right? You put a number in for your daily loss limit, and that
Mhm.
includes commissions and fees, right?
Yep. Mhm.
So that, okay. And so what happens if you hit that?
So what happens is all outstanding orders will be canceled and all active positions will be liquidated until you go in and either change this or until the start of the next trading session. So right now it's about 10 o'clock Central Time in the morning. Let's say I hit this daily loss limit right now. All of my positions would be closed, all of my orders canceled, and then at 5 o'clock on Sunday, which would be the start of the next trading session, is when I could get in again, unless I went in and raised this. Now,
Okay, so this is automated. In other words, it happens automatically, right? So
correct.
it's a trader defined level, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to turn it on, but you could put it at whatever you want. And what I'm thinking is the real benefit here is, it's hard to maintain discipline in the
Exactly.
heat of the moment, right?
Yep.
And there's this inclination to maybe do something you're going to regret or you don't want to do. So
Yeah.
by setting this level, it gives you the ability to walk away and then come back another time.
You're exactly right. So you can set these up at a time when you're not trading, not in the heat of the moment. Have this, you don't even have to look at it, and it'll work in the background. And then when you hit that limit, it'll exit you out of the positions.
And I could turn it off tomorrow if I change my mind, or I
Correct.
want to change the number. I'll just change it tomorrow. Okay.
Or you can change it, if you're maybe in a position where you do want to have a little bit more of a drawdown, and you can sneak in here and change that to 125 or something. But however you want to work this, that works best for you, is available to you. So it's worth pointing out a couple of things. One is that this will not supersede our margin policy. So if, let's say you're in the ES, you've got 600 or 550 in the account, you open up a position in the ES, but you've got this daily loss limit for $100, you'll still have a liquidation due to violating our margin policy if you lose 50 on that position. And then the other thing to point out is that we have an extra layer of risk settings in here, which is this last option, which is lock risk settings if trading locked. So like Jim and I were just saying a few seconds ago, you can go in here and change these or turn them off or on. If you were to turn this on, this will lock these where you can't change them if that's hit. And this is especially good for traders that are finding themselves really having trouble maintaining that discipline. They can lock this if this gets hit. They can't go back in here and raise up their loss limit or maybe turn one of these off and get back into the market. And then our staff, we're instructed not to unlock this for people if they call in. And hey, can you get me back in, unlock me? The idea being somebody set this up and they wanted to have this protection, and we want to honor that. This is kind of like lock risk settings on steroids, or your risk settings on steroids, where you can shut the whole thing down once those get hit.
But tomorrow though, if I want to come back in and change that, I can.
Well, or on Sunday, Sunday. So let's say you have this lock set, you lose $101 or $100 on the account. You could get back in on Sunday, and you could configure this however you want. You
Got it.
might even be at 4 o'clock today when we unlock it. But the important thing is that you're locked for that entire trading session. So again, if you're finding yourself maybe having trouble going past this limit and raising it so that you can get into more trades, and you're wishing that there was a way to really take I don't know what take that element out of your trading, you can actually lock these so that you're not able to come back in and raise them, and you can stick to these limits. So
Totally makes sense. And again, the trader defines it. It's trader defined. You could, if you think this is a good features for yourself, you should. Let me ask you though about the daily profit trigger.
Sure.
Is that work the same way, just on the opposite side?
Correct. It's the same deal. Exactly. So you hit this, you're kind of taken out of positions, your orders are canceled, and then you can lock that as well. So
Okay. If I make 200, then I'm done for the day. I'm going to Disney World.
Yeah, I'll see you there. So yeah, this is an awesome tool. We did have this feature available to our customers a couple of years ago, but you would have had to have called in and talked to somebody at our order desk to set this. Now you can be, watching a baseball game, log in on your phone, set these up, and then the next morning when you're trading, they're already working in the background. You don't even have to think about it, and it's working for you. So,
Are you a Cubs fan?
I'm not at all. Brewers are my team.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And they won
Sorry to interrupt.
yesterday. No, it's okay. Jim and I's baseball podcast. You can take a look at that. We'll put the link in the chat. So even if we just had this, it would be a valuable tool. But there's a lot more that you can do here. So let's move on to the plan section here. This is where you can go to manage your data. This, at least in my opinion, this is the most important section of this, but you can also add to, just from a sales perspective, you can upgrade your account plan here. NinjaTrader does have 2 different account plans that you can subscribe to or purchase to get a lower commission. So if you're doing high volume trades, it really makes sense to be on one of these. You'll wind up saving more than you pay, and reach out to us if you want to discuss that with one of the reps here, or maybe even have one of them go through your trading and see like, hey, what could this save you? Is that right for you? But the market data is the one that you're going to be coming to most often. As you can see, I'm not subscribed. I'm actually logged in on one of my SIM accounts here, so I'm not able to walk you through the subscription process. But if you're a new customer here and you maybe load up one of our platforms and you're finding that it doesn't seem to work, 9 times out of 10, it's just because you haven't subscribed to data. So you can go in here, you can pick the exchanges that are going to be right for you. One thing to note, though, if you are a new customer doing this for the first time, that the data, and we're getting to the end of the month here, so the data is not prorated. So what that means is if you subscribe to data right now for April, you'll get just through the end of April and then sign up again. So just something to consider. Hate to have you sign up if you weren't going to start trading till mid next week. You might want to hold off till May. But you can add data plans here, or you can cancel the renewal of them if you're going to take a break from trading. All right here. Again, you can do this any time of day from any internet connection with the web browser. You don't have to call us or anything, or email. You can manage that all here.
Awesome.
So yeah, I agree. So we'll go to our profile here. This is where you can look at the stuff that you submitted with your account application. If you ever need to change any of this, you can update it right from our portal. Again, no need to, you can do this all on your own at any time. Preferences is there's not a heck of a lot here, but this will impact the appearance of your trading platform and your portal. I don't know. I have mine set to light. I'm a light mode kind of guy, but if you ever wanted to, do dark mode there, you can certainly set that up here.
And Ed, that's for the web trader, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this will set it for basically anything related to NinjaTrader on a web browser. So if you want this to, a lot of people have their NinjaTrader desktop set up so that it's in like a dark mode or has a black background. you could sync that up and have that same appearance by going to this preferences. Let's move over to security. So I'm going to turn this on here. I need to get my password here. So this is our two-factor authentication. And so I wanted to explain this because it is a little bit confusing at first blush. I'll go through it real quickly. We have two different types of two-factor authentication here at NinjaTrader, one of which is where if you're doing any, if you're accessing a NinjaTrader website, mobile app, or the desktop platform from a new internet connection or a new computer, you'll have to confirm that by email. That's similar, I'm sure, to what you experience at your bank, or maybe the phone company. They'll do that. They'll say, we recognize this is an unrecognized login or a login from a new device. They'll send you an email. You click through to confirm it. Think about that. If it's right for you, you may want to turn that on.
Hey, so
yeah.
Ed, quick question.
Sure.
This is the great feature. I mean, this feature is, I think, pretty widespread now on most of people's account types or whatever you have.
Exactly.
So would I get an alert to like my email if someone's logging in Seattle?
Yeah. So even if you don't have this on, Jim, you'll get an alert if the guy in Seattle or anywhere is doing that. But if you want to confirm that, you can turn this on. So the confirmation is nice because, again, if that guy tries to log in, if he gets your username and password, it's up to you to click through to confirm it. Otherwise, you would just get an alert saying, hey, there's a new login to your account, and the person would already be in. You wouldn't have to confirm that. So think about what's right for you, what works best for you, and make that choice. Just like with the risk settings, there's another layer to this, though, which is to require it on each login. I'm sure either at your work or with the banks, you might have like an authenticator app. We use one here. With a number of things, when you try to sign in, you have to use a third-party app of some kind, or maybe you get a code sent to you by text. And the same is true here at NinjaTrader. You can set that up. And I'm getting a little blurb here that I have to set up a security key in order to do that. So this is just my demo account, so I don't have it set up, but I'll explain what our options are. So you can get a text message sent to a number of your choosing. So you would turn this on, you'd put in your number. Each time you log on, you would have to confirm that login. So not even if it's from a new device, but every time. You could also use a third-party authentication app. Google has one. That's the one that's most commonly used. And if you were to turn that on, you would scan a QR code on the screen that would create a connection for NinjaTrader in your third-party app. And then each time you log on, you'd go into that app. It would generate a code and you'd enter that in. And then the last option would be to log on, to confirm each logon from a device that you've previously used. And by device, I mean like a browser connection or a NinjaTrader desktop connection or your mobile app. So you would have approved one, you've gotten in before. Each time you log in, you'd have to pick one of those you'd have to log in again, basically, to confirm that. So this is an extra layer of security. Again, it would come through with each login. And if that's something that you want for your account, we have that available to you. So, sweet. And then, of course, we have our transfer section. And so this is where you can manage the funding and withdrawal from your account. Again, all from our website at any time. We accept deposits by ACH, wire transfer, and check. And then you can withdraw by ACH and wire transfer. And you can set all of that up right here in your portal. For people here in the United States, the most common method is by ACH transfer. And you've all probably used ACH transfer with paying bills. Like when you link, think of it like an electronic check. So when you put in your information to the electric company, and then they deduct your bill, that's ACH. How we do it is a little bit different than maybe what people are familiar with, where we use a program called Plaid to manage ACH transfers. They have you log into your online banking and link your account that way. So rather than giving us your routing number and your account number, you would just log in, it would establish that connection. And once that's all set up, you're able to deposit and withdraw for free right from the NinjaTrader website. You only have to do it that one time, and then you can move funds in and out of the account.
So
Yeah.
that's I'm glad you mentioned that. The first time I got a notice that I'm giving Plaid access to my bank account,
Yeah.
I freaked out.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, wait a second, who are these Plaid guys?
Right.
Who are these people? Why do they want access to
Yeah,
my
looking at my shirt.
it's,
Yeah.
but they're a legitimate intermediary that works with a lot of different financial services companies and other companies as well. So don't be startled when you see that.
Correct. And, if you are doing trading, maybe in other instrument classes, you've probably encountered Plaid with your stock brokerage or, or options trading. You've probably seen it before, but Jim's right. If you're new to this, you might not have seen that before, but they are a legitimate operation, well established in this realm. And yes, you do give them access to your account to create that connection, but otherwise they just manage the depositing and withdrawal to and from your two accounts here. And now if you don't want to use that method, wire transfer is another option available to you, and that requires no link. That's something that you would actually go to your bank to initiate or go to NinjaTrader to initiate. And you can put in that information, like if you're withdrawing, you can put that in here. If you want, you can save this info so that you just have to do it with a couple of clicks. But if you really want that extra layer of security, you can enter in this info, request a withdrawal by wire transfer, and then remove this from your system here. So
real quick, Ed, so for both ACHs and for wires, and the answers might be different. What's the turnaround time between when you initiate this and then it's ready to go?
Yeah, so an ACH deposit from your bank account to your NinjaTrader account can take a little while. So that it can be anywhere from 1 to 3 business days from the time that we process it. And it really depends on Plaid. So they do some verification with the customer's bank balance, and that can take a couple of days and delay the process. For withdrawal, it can be same day. So I think our cutoff time to request a withdrawal is noon Central. So if you get that request in, you should have it by dinner time that night. So the turnaround on withdrawals is pretty quick, but getting funds into your NinjaTrader account by ACH can take a while. And then lastly, sending funds to us by wire transfer is actually really fast. So if we were to initiate a wire transfer to NinjaTrader now, there's a decent chance that it would be in your account really early this afternoon. So as soon as a couple of hours, as long as everything was filled out correctly and it gets to our bank account. We consider a wire transfer to be cash. We consider an ACH transfer to be like a check. And so we need to hold it for a little bit longer to clear.
Yeah, my experience with wires, they're really fast, they're really good, they're really reliable. And once you clear that, there's a Fed system in the middle. And once you make it to that level behind the scenes, usually you're good. Sometimes though, banks batch these things. They don't do them in real time sometimes. So keep in mind, depending on who you're using as your bank, they might batch them. So you might have to wait on the hour or something like that.
No, that's exactly right. Or, with some smaller banks, they may do them once a day. Let's say it's 1:00 p.m. You put in that wire request a couple hours after that. It might not actually get sent until the next day. So it's an important thing to keep in mind that the funds actually have to be sent. And that kicks off the process. So not requesting your wire from your bank, but rather when they actually send it. And then the important thing that I try to tell customers too is that there's always going to be a period of time where the funds are out of your bank account, but not in your NinjaTrader account, and vice versa if you're withdrawing. These things actually require some processing, and it's not an instantaneous transfer. Even though wire is really fast and ACH is really convenient, it's not like an instant transfer like moving funds between your accounts at your bank. There will be an hour or two where the funds are kind of in transit and you're not able to see them on your bank, but they're not here yet. So I invite you to be patient. We do have a team here that can support you if you have any questions, either before, during, or after the transfer process. I think once you kind of have a few deposits and withdrawals, you'll be able to understand the time frames and know what to expect. And then it won't seem so it won't seem like you'll be prepared for the process. So if it takes if the first one you did took a couple hours, the second one took a couple hours, you're going to be expecting that, and it usually falls in line with your expectations.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I do want to show a couple more quick things here before we wrap things up. So I can't believe I didn't mention this bright orange download button here, but when you need to get the NinjaTrader desktop trading platform, it's right here. So anytime you're in the what you could call the member section of our website, or after you've logged in, this is going to be visible to you. So if you maybe are using a new computer, or you just want to check to make sure that you have the latest version of NinjaTrader Desktop, just log in, click this orange download button, and it'll take you to our download page. So I do want to.
By the way, Ed, I just downloaded 8.1.3.
Heck yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
The greatest thing of all time happened to me. We have a drawing tool now that you could access from the chart, where you could anchor VWAP, volume weighted average price, at any time frame that's showing up on your chart. And it's so convenient and so awesome. So these updates every once in a while, folks, will surprise you.
Yeah. And these updates are from customers like you. We will take customer feedback, feature requests, and build these into these new versions. So I personally think that it makes sense to always have the latest version of NinjaTrader Desktop at all times, not just to get those new features, but to make sure that everything's running as smoothly as possible. However, if you do want to use an older legacy version, we do have those available to you as well. So there are some reasons why somebody would need to use maybe version 8.0.28, or even way back to NinjaTrader 7. We have these available to you as well. So, don't think that you're locked into always having to use the latest version, even though that's strongly recommended. But you can get all of that here. We have our next guest that's coming up in a few minutes. Ryan Krebs is going to talk about this NinjaTrader ecosystem. This is just one point of access for you to that fantastic website. But you can jump right there here to find a bunch of third-party plugins that will work with the open source NinjaTrader desktop platform.
So that button launches a new browser with.
Yeah, let's just do it now.
There you go.
You can start your search.
Oh, your timing is perfect, man, because you're right. We're in a minute from now. We're almost out of time, me and you, and you covered some really, really important points. And we do have Ryan coming up next with a spotlight on 3 ecosystem folks here in a minute. So Ed, thanks for being here with me. What are we going to cover next time?
I'm not sure. Let's go for the NinjaTrader web trading platform. I feel like that's something that I can shed a lot of light on for people. And I gotta say, I feel like some of our customers might not even know that it's out there, and it could be a real great solution for them. And I think it's an awesome platform, and I know my way around that.
Yeah, let's do it. I use it. I have a laptop, personal one. It's an Apple. It's an iMac something or other. I don't know what the number is, but it's relatively new. So I could sit on the couch or outside in my chair and log in, and it's easy peasy.
Totally. And if you're a new trader, it's really intuitive, and might make a little bit more sense for somebody starting out to start with that and then work their way up to the desktop platform, which is a kind of like a rocket ship. And the web is like a car or a train. So awesome. Let's do that in a couple weeks.
All right, sounds like a plan, Ed. Thanks for being here with me today. You have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks for having me. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.
All right, so we'll be right back after a quick break here. We'll bring in Ryan Krebs.
So, you want to be a trader? Well, you should know you're not alone. Over the past several years, record numbers of people have set up their very own online trading accounts. There's never been an easier time or more inexpensive way for do-it-yourselfers to get started trading the financial markets.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at ninjatrader.com. Technical analysis made easy. A starting place for new traders. When do I place my trade? Where do I set my stop loss or profit target? All good questions that traders need to answer on a regular basis. One of the ways traders get to those answers is by using technical analysis in a historical price chart.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers building trading indicators and more. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started today.
Better futures start now with the NinjaTrader mobile app. With the power to customize how you trade on the go, you can quickly and easily place trades with a single swipe and view index, financial, energy, metal, crypto, and more futures markets, and access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom indicators, all from your phone. Stay up to date at all times by enabling notifications. Get started today at ninjatrader.com.
Join over 800,000 users who trust NinjaTrader as their futures trading platform of choice. Access the world's most popular futures markets and trade seamlessly across devices, including PC, Mac, or mobile. Get started with $50 margins and commissions as low as 9 cents. Need support? We're available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Want to personalize your trading setup? Connect with our ecosystem of third-party developers building trading indicators and more. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started today.
We are back, folks. Joining me live again from the Chicago office, Ryan Krebs of NinjaTrader. Ryan, how are you?
Hey, Jim. Good to see you again. Thanks for having me back. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, today's been great. We've had Mike Burke, we've had Ed Jurken, we've had you today, all NinjaTrader. Tom's traveling today. He's going to Boston to see his son and hang out for the weekend. So you're stuck with me today, but thanks for being here.
Of course, we got an all-star lineup from NinjaTrader. I love it.
There you go. So I'm hearing a little bit. Now that I'm in Charleston, I don't have a team anymore. I'm hearing some rumblings about the Bears. What's going on?
Jim, exciting times here in Chicago. New franchise quarterback, new wide receiver to go along with it. I'm ecstatic. I'm pumped up for the Bears. I can't wait for football season now.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about the Bears finally, have picked right and didn't waste their draft picks.
Yeah, it's been a tough go as a Bears fan over the years. But it looks like we're heading in the right direction. Couldn't be more excited. So hopefully everything pans out the way it's supposed to be. And the Bears are maybe Super Bowl bound. Who knows?
Yeah,
I
well,
hope.
We're not Jim McMahon handing off to Walter Payton just yet, but we'll see how we go. I know I'm dating myself a little bit. You probably weren't even born back in '85. I don't even know how old you are.
I was not, but have
Oh.
definitely seen the recording of the Super Bowl many, many times. My grandpa and I used to watch it all the time together, so I'm very familiar with that game.
Yeah. Well, I was the last time they were in the Super Bowl, Lovie Smith was the coach, and I was fortunate enough to go to the game.
Oh, wow.
Ricky Hester ran back the opening kickoff for a touchdown and against the Colts. It was against Peyton Manning though. So it was kind of it was good. It was close for a while. Let's just put it that way.
For like the first couple minutes, and then it was
No. Even going
all
into the
Colts.
fourth quarter, there was a chance. Even going in
Okay.
that fourth, it was a 2-score game. It was, it was good, but Peyton Manning's Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Rex Grossman, not necessarily, but
Anyway, all right. So now that we're done with the football portion of our conversation, let's talk about the ecosystem. Let's remind everybody what it is.
yeah. So Ninja, Ed did a great job of pointing out one of the places that you can go to find the NinjaTrader ecosystem and actually get in there to go ahead and look at some of the different offerings. But basically, the ecosystem is just like an app store or a marketplace where people can go find add-ons for NinjaTrader. They can find trading education, trading strategies, basically anything out there that can kind of give you an edge in trading or shed a light on a new type of product. That's really what the ecosystem is about. It is about NinjaTrader working with our community and really helping out those people that have taken the time and done the work to create these great products and services. We want to be able to highlight and spotlight them and get people to test out the different offerings that you can get through the NinjaTrader ecosystem.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how many really talented creators have emerged around the trading space. And most times they end up here, right? You're working with the desktop platform, or maybe not, but they end up in the ecosystem, and it provides our folks with some really, really helpful information.
Yeah, and I think with the growth of all of the prop firms and the sim to funded trading has really kind of grown that retail space even greater and has kind of opened up the door and opportunities for creators, like you're saying, to come in and create and offer products to retail traders to help them navigate markets and improve their trading and abilities. So it's an exciting time in the retail space, I believe. And we want to be able to highlight these products and give people an opportunity to go out there and improve at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to talk about a few of them right now. On the screen, we do have an ecosystem page up for a company called Trendoscope. Tell us about Trendoscope.
Yep. So, last Friday, you and I had discussed trend trading, pattern recognition were some of the topics that we had briefly touched on. So wanted to highlight Trendoscope, obviously in the name. They're actually based out of Australia. They provide premium pattern recognition algorithms and market research. So helps people to be able to recognize patterns after seeing them a few times within their charts. Most of their tools are free. They're not charging to use them. They don't want that to be a barrier to entry. So they offer a free trial. They offer a lot of free indicators and products, really to help you again with pattern recognition and trend trading. So obviously pattern recognition can be difficult. A lot of the times we have these ideas of certain patterns that happen in trading that give us a bullish or a bearish signal. These types of tools are just created in order to help you notice those on a more regular basis, right?
Got it. So I just clicked through to their website. So that's the one thing you can do on the ecosystem, right? You don't have to download right away. You don't have to engage. You could just click and you can go to the website and decide, all right, is this something that I would like to pursue. And then you could kind of kick the tires here and go through all of the menus and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's you know, we kind of look at it as we want to get traders in front of these businesses, right? So being able to quickly click on their listing there and getting directly to the source, and then being able to therefore get in contact with them, learn more about the products and services that are offered, and the different opportunities that can be available to them by using products and finding companies like Trendoscope to again improve their trading.
Yeah, I mean, I just scrolled down a little bit and I found my favorite topic, premium harmonics. I mean, this is something we've been experimenting with, me and Tom, just on a simple Fibonacci retracement, where we're changing the levels from fibs to harmonics, which are basically, if you think about a piano keyboard, 8 keys, right? You have 8 levels at 12 and a half, 25, 35 and a half, 50. And so and we've been back testing it. It's pretty interesting. So right off the bat, that caught my attention here.
Yeah, man, and I think, you know, maybe it'd be worth checking this out too, and maybe we can have them on again, or have them kind of walk you through their process and stuff too. That could also be a really cool idea, or a potential opportunity for us here. You know,
love to have them on the show for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely get in touch. But
that's candidate number 1. Let's go to candidate number 2. We have Clear Trend by Clear Don. Did I say that name right, Don?
Yeah, Clear Don. Yep. Again, just going to continue on in that trend trading type of topic, right? They have 2 main products. First here is Clear Trend, which is they have a basic version and then a Clear Trend Pro. So the basic version is just an indicator that's going to point out trend strength and buy and sell signals, right? The Clear Trend Pro is now a fully automated version of that. So automatically going to place those trades and do some risk management there for you. So, you know, obviously putting in a stop loss, putting in a profit target, that's all done for you. So really gives you the opportunity to be a little more hands-off with your trading. Obviously, some people that's their preference versus being aggressive or you know, being very hands-on with those trades and being active like that. So risk management to me is going to be the most important thing for retail traders, is being able to manage risks when they're trading. So products like this help you to do 2 things at once, you know, follow a trend and then also, you know, protect yourself on the downside as well.
Very awesome. All right. So that's Clear Don, and they do have a free trial, did you say?
Yeah. So I believe it is a 5-day free trial. So yeah, if you guys do want to go in there, get in touch with ClearDon. You can check out some of their software, see some of the videos that they've created, and get an idea of the products that they're offering.
And who's the creator's name? Is it D Han or no?
Yeah, ClearDon.
No, but what's the guy's name, or the lady's name, whoever's behind it? If you don't know, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
All right, don't worry about it. Let's keep moving.
Sorry.
No, I know. I just like I'm like when I see something that I don't know, and I'm so old and I've been around for so long, I'm like, wait a second, do I know this person? And that's why I asked that. I don't know.
I will. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, okay? It's okay. All right, let's go to number 3. Dharma Capital Trading.
Dharma Capital Trading. So this was a really cool product that I wanted to talk about, the playbook and the price map. The playbook is one of the cooler tools that I've come across in the ecosystem. So it's a strategy-based trading tool that simplifies decision-making process. So they have a bunch of analytics and data that come into this. And basically allows you to see a bunch of different things at once. Some of the things you'll be able to see is the current trend. You'd be able to see volatility. Here it is right here on your screen. You can see this little playbook right here, the heat map and the playbook. So easily identifying trend, momentum, volatility. All of this is just simply available in that little playbook feature on their website. So it was something that I had not come across very many times before, right? Where it's just a clear, concise, little description of what they're seeing and what their data and analytics are showing for certain markets, right? So thought that was a really cool one. And then right next to it is the price map.
Oh, this guy
That's
here.
that, yeah, that one. So just another analytical tool to help you visualize support, resistance, and the underlying structure of the market, right? So more common areas where they expect to see a lot of volume being traded, right? But for those of you guys that are on Twitter, Dharma Capital is a great follow. You'll be able to see some of these products in use, and kind of get some maybe get some trade ideas from them. Obviously, they're not they don't give trading advice, but if you're out there on Twitter and looking for some ideas that's where you want to be. They're a great follow, so highly recommend checking them out on Twitter and checking out their website to see if those products align with what you're trying to do.
It looks like they have a few. And well, by the way, Ryan, I'm older and I shouldn't be correcting you here, but it's X.
You're
It's not
right.
Twitter. Come on, you got to get hip. It's X.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. I have the hardest time switching it up. It's been a long time calling it Twitter, but you are correct. It is X now. I should get that right, especially on the airwaves.
Yeah. But so they have several Twitter handles, it looks like, but the logos are the same. So they probably have different information on each channel. So definitely a good tip. I'm a super fan of Twitter. I mean, because you could scroll, you could take it or leave it. You could scroll, you could do a deeper dive if you think there's interesting content there. I've wasted a few man hours on this.
Yeah, I think for especially like financial industry and day trading, Twitter is a really great resource. X is a really great resource to follow along with things that are going on. Again, to get ideas and see what other people are seeing, and just kind of open up your eyes to some different trades or opportunities. So big fan of X, and definitely recommend giving some of our vendors a follow to give you some more insights and education at the end of the day.
Do you say Facebook still?
I don't really use Facebook much, but I would still call it Facebook. Yeah. Because isn't it just the Meta's the company name, but the Facebook is like the product isn't that?
Oh, this is John's. Oh my God. I didn't realize. All right. So this name is new to me. John Slassis, I've known 20 years. I'm shocked to see him here. I mean, I'm going to fall off my chair. I should have done a little bit of research before our show. And I'm going to double down on what you're saying. This fella is, wow. I'm going to follow him. John's been around a long time in these markets. He's very clever. He's a smart dude. He's just a smart dude. I think I first met him maybe in 2002, 3 or 4, something like that. He's probably a little younger than me, but not much. But always had a terrific product. Wow, this is great to reconnect with John Slassis. I guess I'd say his name.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of working with John and joining the ecosystem, and just like you said, a very, very intelligent guy. The products that he has here, very impressive. So highly recommend to people to check it out and see what he's doing, because it is some very cool stuff.
I'm in shock. I'm staring at him. I mean, so is Ryan, as you get older, and you kind of go through life, you're gonna cycle back to people that you remember. It's just gonna be random, just like this. It's gonna be odd, but you're gonna cycle back and you're like, oh, I remember that guy, and you're gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to John and say hi to him.
No, you should. Definitely should.
Yeah.
It's a great product, and I can't recommend it enough. It's cool. I should definitely tell you who the creators are of these, because now you've known a few of them. So I should be letting you know beforehand who they
I just
are.
keep outliving. Just keep outliving people. Just keep going. You know,
Well, we're happy to
but
have you. So
well, I appreciate that. But you know, the good thing though is when you have somebody like John, who you had a good experience with 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, who's still in the same space doing the same, work.
mhm.
That tells that passes the test of time. And I would take that person more seriously. There's been a whole category of people that I met, in 2002 to 2010 that are gone now. They either got out of the business or their product wasn't good or whatever. But when you see someone like John, it's like, wow, okay, this guy's got staying power. This is a good guy.
Yeah, experience is big. And experience in trading is definitely a positive, right? Having seen a lot and been through a lot of different markets, it helps you notice things a lot faster, and it helps you to create products that can help people, like in this case. So
Yeah, for sure. Wow, I'm glad. I'm double happy now that we're here today. I know you're coming up again in a couple weeks here.
yeah,
Or next week. What is it?
I believe it is next week. Yeah. So,
Right.
you got anything in particular, any topics you'd like to cover, or?
Yeah, yeah, actually. But before I even tell you, I know you're still heavy into the bachelor party circuit. You're still have you been to them all yet or no?
No, they're coming up here in June. So I'm still like a month away, but there's a couple of them back to back. A lot of golf.
All right, there you go. Market profile
Okay.
is something
That's
on my
easy
radar
enough.
screen next. Yeah, we
Yep.
do volume profile a lot on
Okay.
the show with Tom Schneider and Mike
Mhm.
Burke. It's one of my favorites, but market profile is very similar but different. And that's one plugin I'd love to have.
Okay. That's easy enough. I know there's plenty of that. So I'll definitely get a list together, and we can go through some market profile. Maybe you could teach me a thing or two about how to use it as well.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So we have a couple minutes left here, Ryan. Let's just wrap it up because we
Yep.
don't have a bars closing today. It's Friday. There's no bars closing on Friday. So we're just going to kind of glance across the board here. My modified market analyzer, just look at the markets here. And, the stock index futures are way up today. PCE came in as advertised. No surprises there. Earnings, we had some really good earnings at the close yesterday. We kind of reversed our negative earnings that we got with earlier in the week. So things have kind of reversed to the positive here. This is kind of a bullish move here going into the end of the day, Friday, with even the S&P up 51. Big day in the stock index futures. Currencies are mixed across the board, not that much to go on. I mean, yen continues to disappoint. We were just talking, Ryan, we were just talking about trend people.
Yep.
I mean, this is an incredible trend. I mean, this is a Japanese yen US dollar chart. And if the trend is your friend, you're getting short on rallies. I mean, this is just a tremendously downward. And then we talked about it this morning with Mike Burke. No change in monetary policy last night by the Bank of Japan. And as a result, huge sell-off versus the dollar. So this sell-off continues. And this, you could go back in time forever. And this has been just, I'm only going back a little over a year. But if you added more data here, you would see that this trend has been going on and on with a little bit of retracement here. But this is where your trend people are going to come in handy on a market like this.
Correct.
All right, let's keep moving here. But other than that, most of the currency pairs are kind of shoulder shrug. Dollar's pretty strong still. Keep that in mind. The longer term, longer duration financial instruments, interest rate instruments are up a little bit, not a huge bit. We'll just take a look at the treasury bonds really quickly here. We're off the mat a little bit. We've crossed the piercing line on the previous candle, but not out of the woods yet. Really nice area of support here. This is a story of interest rates higher for longer. combined with spending, right? So that's where we're at with 30-year Treasury bonds. I don't know if this bottom is going to hold. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to hold. This market's kind of in a bearish market for sure. Let's go to gold really quickly. Gold's up $6.30. Not much movement today. Not much movement today. I'm just going to open up my my chart a little bit here. Long-term area support resistance. I threaded the needle here through these candles, and we're just trading up off of that, but we're still below the 8 exponential moving average, and that's been, Ryan, that red 8 period exponential has been really, really informative on the upside, and now we'll see if it's informative on the downside. All right, let's keep moving, folks. A couple other big ones before we call it a wrap. Copper still just hot, no end in sight. Now, we had a decent seller's wick at the top here, but we had a seller's wick last session. We had a seller's wick in this green candle. We had a seller's wick here. So I'm not going to call this the top. I think we have a lot of room to go. Mike Burke talked about a $5 print, which is pretty far away based on where we've come from down here at 3. Well, actually, it's not that far away, right? In 1 month, we've gone up $1.50. If I just kind of squish my charts down a little bit, we have a line in the sand up here at $5. So we'll see if Mike's right. I'm agreeing with him. So let's see if we're right, and this market continues to appreciate. We're almost out of time, folks. Bear with me one more second here. I just want to look at wheat because, wheat was crazy out of control. Still crazy out of control. Looks like the bodies of the candle are getting a little smaller on this trajectory on the upside, but still a very strong bullish pattern here, a breakout, if you will, on wheat futures. So if you're trading commodities, I would take a peek here. All right. Well, we're up against time. Ryan, thanks for being here with me. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me as always, and looking forward to chatting with you again next week.
Big plans this weekend before I let you go?
Going to Las Vegas this weekend with work.
Why aren't I younger? Why am I missing this? All this stuff. That sounds fun. You guys will have a good time. Where are you staying at?
The Cosmopolitan. So
nice.
got a real nice setup thanks to NinjaTrader. So really looking forward to it. Got some good meals planned. That's for sure.
All right. And this was a performance-based thing, right?
Yeah. So our president's club for meeting sales goals. So real excited. It's always a really great time. So looking forward to it. That's awesome.
I love it. You work real hard, you meet your goals, and the company recognizes that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So
just remember, 23 red is going to come in a lot.
23 is my number. So it's my favorite number. So I'll be on it.
All right, man. I thank you. Appreciate you. Be safe out there. Don't gamble too much.
Okay, guys. Have a good one.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming, joining us today. NinjaTrader Live Friday. We're done for the day. No bars closing this afternoon. Appreciate everybody's participation and being with us throughout the morning. As usual, remember, most important message, especially going into the weekend, please be safe out there. Be good to each other. See you soon.
All of the symbols, trading ideas, and live trading are for demonstrational purposes and are not recommendations or trading advice. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All of the information and opinions expressed by third-party guests are their own and are not necessarily those of NinjaTrader LLC. Trading futures involve substantial risk and may not be suitable for everyone, and trading futures can result in losses greater than the initial required margin. Traders should only trade futures with risk capital. Risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security or current lifestyle. You can find additional disclosure information on the NinjaTrader website.